All right. Here we are, Thursday night, or as I like to say, practically Friday, maybe the weekend, you know. Woo! Let's go. Yeah, put that where is it? There. Comment up on the screen. Someone I don't know, Community Leo Watch, who got the Al Pacino Dog Day Afternoon reference. Attica. And hello, Musical Aviator, and Luke, Left Wing Dog Suck. Yes, and Musical Aviator. It is kind of special to celebrate New South Wales breaking 1,000 COVID cases in a day. Gladys says she's going to ease some restrictions. Now, and you can look at it on the face of it, and there's the thing. If that ever actually happens, it's scheduled for 2 weeks. I don't know. They're going to be up to 4,000 cases a day by that time. It's going to go to shit so badly. So fucking badly. But the thing is, if I understood it correctly, and I may not have, but if I understood it correctly, it's you can go outside recreationally, have a picnic with family members you live with, not with your extended family, not with friends, not with neighbors. So when you look at that on paper, that if you're fully vaccinated, you can do that. If you look at that on paper, that doesn't sound so bad, but it's obviously fucking terrible on a number of levels. One is it just sends a really fucking shit message. 2 is it's impossible to police. You know, without doubt, the park is going to be fucking full of very large crowds of people. It's stupid as fuck, like literally every fucking thing the New South Wales government has done with this outbreak. Just so fucking stupid. Justin, hello. How are you doing? Going to sip my beverage. I'm going to say it's water, but it's a bit yellow, isn't it? It's a urine sample. I've joined one of those cults where people drink their own urine. But I'm one of the classy ones. I drink my own urine on ice. Some of them just drink it warm. Gross. Tastes like me. Sorry. Wolf Northern on Twitch. Hello. Yes. Well, it was Dog Day. Apparently, this is all these things get declared days, and it's Dog Day, which is a reference to America. The later part of summer is known as the hottest part of the year, and apparently a saying that goes back to Roman times is to refer to these hot late summer days as dog days, which is apparently some reference to Sirius, the dog star. But anyway, and then when I saw it as Dog Day, I thought of the old Al Pacino movie, Dog Day Afternoon. So that's what I went with. Wrestle with Deep thought, hello, you're a Queenslander. Song that keeps playing in your head is Don't Dream It's Over. Yes. Living Dog, so you check the Nuts channel. Oh, no, dude. I try not to give him the attention, but he's just kind of sad. I tried to cut him a break, I don't engage, I block. Because I'd like him to fucking get a life, for fuck's sake. But yeah, it's occasionally funny to make fun of him. Speaking of people, it's occasionally funny to make fun of. It's AZ.
I'm having a special disco dance.
Nice.
You cut off my head. I was having a special disco. Okay, you can see my special disco dance here.
Yeah. X-Men right? Disco dance.
Oh, I'm looking too fat doing that. Hang on. hang on. Let me just... Yeah, special disco dance. Actually, maybe I should just do this.
Yeah, do that.
Then I don't look too fat.
So, Wrestle with Deep Thought. It's funny that you asked about why isn't Gladys Berejiklian getting dictated Gladys headlines like Dan Andrews got. Well, because the Murdoch media are shameless propaganda
alt-right
outlets.
bitch.
But I did see someone, I'm not sure if it's someone from the LNP from another state or one of those fuckheads who call themselves libertarians in Australia. And they're not libertarians. That's why I say they call themselves. They're not libertarians. They're just conservatives who think rules shouldn't apply to them. They definitely want rules to apply to other people. If you do a thing they don't like, they want rules to apply to you, but they just don't want rules to apply to them. But anyway, this person, and I like I said, I'm having trouble placing where he's from, but he called the New South Wales government Stalinists. So
That's a little way away from the mark.
A little bit.
Yeah, I would have gone the other way. Yeah. Except they don't care about the environment, and they don't have a policy on women, which the Nazis did. The Nazis were very pro-environment and very pro-women's health.
Well, only as much as they expected women to do a bunch of breeding, And so they did want women to be healthy because they wanted the women to do a lot of breeding to,
they
populate
wanted women to do a lot of breeding, but they wanted women to stop taking chemicals that would fuck them up. They had these really weird policies, right? They were deeply into
one or two, yes.
They were deeply into health. They were deeply into women's health. They were deeply into environment, deeply, to the point where they were going to make a weapons range, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shit you not, right? They were going to make a weapons range, but then the government turned around and said, no, there's a natural old growth black forest on the edge of this weapons range, so we can't have it there. We've got to move it. And they fucking did. You think this is Nazis, right? It's like, kill cunts, no worries. Don't kill trees. Hitler really ruined that mustache. I know.
My favorite thing about Hitler, he didn't just ruin the mustache. He ruined the hairstyle, like a sweeping fringe, and ruined the name Adolf and ruined the name Hitler. All Stalin did was ruin the name Stalin. No one wants to be called Stalin now. Joseph is fine. And that big bushy mustache he had, that's fine. And he didn't have a very distinctive hair, but Hitler, he ruined the mustache, the hairstyle, the first name, the last name.
He was like the greatest footballer ever known. He retired the jersey, the name, the fucking...
Oh, you almost got me to choke on that one.
Oh, damn, I was so close.
So close. There was almost a spit take. You said that just as I was taking a sip.
Yeah.
Hello, Nettie. How's it going?
It's, well... right, that I've been wussing out because I got my second jab of the Pfizer. I wasn't allowed to have the AstraZeneca because I've got such a fucked immune system. They said no.
Okay.
And they said you can have the Pfizer, and I went great. And they said, and you can have 5 weeks apart. I went, right. I thought it was 3, but 5 is good. Whatever, as long as I get 2. And they said, we might be giving you 3. And I went, okay. And these days I'm going, no, 2's good. Anyway, so they said, people have said to me, oh, the Pfizer, the second jab's worse than the first. And the first one put me on my ass for a day. And I thought, oh, that's not so bad. Second one put me on my ass for 3 days. I was just a mess for 3 days. I just thought, right. So when Corona hits you, it's like this, only much, much worse. How people can go to work with this, I don't know. And then I remembered, oh, that's right. 18 to 25-year-olds are on casual jobs, and if they don't go to work, they don't eat and they die. So
that's been who's been spreading it at work, not just 18 to 25-year-old casuals. There are an enormous number of people who, because of fucked late-stage capitalism, all through their life don't have secure work, and they're working 3 and 4 jobs. So when they get sick, they can't afford to stop going to any of their jobs, so they transmit it to multiple locations. It's not their fault; it's capitalism's fault. But
you know, mate, I've had 2 full-time jobs in my life.
All right.
Right? All the rest of the jobs I've had have been casual jobs. Right? Because when Keating came in and said Australia needs more productivity, and he was right, basically he said what we're going to do is we're going to give kids casual jobs, and then they will climb up the ladder of full-time work when they're out of that zone, when they've got basically a little bit of work experience under their belt. And that was the idea. And then fucking guess who came in after him and said, this casual stuff is fucking awesome because we're supposedly paying them more and they have to 17% load. A friend of mine, as exercise, took out 17% loading, and she found she could just about pay rent as long as she only ate every second day. So basically, she said, if I get sick, I've got my 17% loading, and when work shuts down over Christmas, I've got my 17% loading. And she found that when work shut, because she got sick for 2 days and could pay for it, and then really sick, can't get out of bed. And then when Christmas came and they shut down the fucking shop, it was for 3 weeks, and she said at the end of the 2.5 week, all the money was gone. And rent was starting to scream at her, where's my money? And she was going, well, the job's shut down and there will be no money. Ooh, we're going to fucking evict you. If you're going to do that in 90 days, says your own bloody lease. So in 90 days, I'll have my job back and you'll get paid. Ooh, I'm unhappy. Hi, AZ. Hello, Rottweiler Dude 41. Very pleased to meet you. Meet, see you. Anyway, so basically the productivity of Australia did improve. And I, on the sweat of my back, made it happen. What shits me is that the next thing that happened was our baby boomer friends started screaming at us because we weren't bringing in the money that they was going to steal, that they were so used to. They'd spent their parents' money, they'd spent their own money, and they'd spent their children's money, and then they wanted more, and the cupboard was bare. And they was going, why aren't you buying my houses? It's like, because we spent all our money on your rent. But you've got to buy my stuff so that I can get more accumulation. There's nothing more in the cupboard. And then thank Christ the Y generation came through, and there was a lot of them, and they had a lot of spending power. And so we were just brushed aside, and it's like, yes, come in, children, do what you want. And of course, the downside was that they stuck with a job for 6 months and fucked off like the millennials. It's like, I don't like it. I'm not getting toys or promoted. I'm going. And now they've got this big problem about they train them and then fuck off.
Yeah, because it's like, who knew when you show no allegiance and no commitment to someone, they pick up on that, and so they have no allegiance to you. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. They don't care, and they're not afraid because there's so much need for their talent that you know, I mean, if you've ever seen a baby boomer operate a computer, it's fucking hilarious. Like, that's not true. That's not true. A quarter of them operate computers really well. Like, really, really well.
Well, a quarter of them pioneered the personal computer era.
Well, that's true, but a quarter of them, like, you know, in corporates, they're just fucking tippity tap and they're fine. But most of them are just embarrassing. You know, they turn it on and they go, well, I want to do what I wanted to do. I don't understand. It doesn't understand me. No.
There was a great,
you don't understand it.
Yeah. There's a great one being circulated on social media at the moment of someone going, oh, bless my dad. He wanted to do the right thing. He's checking in everywhere. I had a look at his phone recently. The entire camera roll is pictures of QR codes. He hasn't been checking in. He's been taking photos of QR codes everywhere he goes. It's just like,
I love that.
That's great. That's great.
That's so cute. Mind you, I tell you what I'm pissed off about is that, you know, this lockdown's gonna extend. We know
it is.
Yes, it is. Because the fucking numbers are going up. And what it is it's two clusters, right? That aren't under control, that they can't find. And what that means is that patient 0, 1, 2, maybe 3 aren't checking in. Right? Yeah. Everyone else is fucking checking in, but they're not. And so they're going around happily infecting the fuck out of people and not checking in. So they can't find them. Right? I went on the train on Monday only to find on the fucking train carriage there's a check-in. Now, that hasn't happened before because when you go on the train, you got a MyKey ticket and you go into the barrier, and it basically says AIDS is in the station, and then when you check out of the barrier, it says AIDS has come out of the station, so he must have been on this train at this time. No, not now. It's you go in the train and there's a check-in, and you check in the train. You check in before you go in the train station. Your MyKey should be doing all this. I've seen on some trams now there's check-in, and they'll probably be everywhere soon. But it's the same thing. I mean, you zap your MyKey card, and you're fucking
okay. A very significant number of MyKey cards aren't tagged to anyone. There's an actual thing you have to do. And also, why people aren't getting traced, Nettie's onto it. It's because they're part of the freedom protests, and they refuse to check in and they refuse to get tested and all this shit. So there's shit's always going to fall apart. It's kind of like Gladys in New South Wales saying in a couple of weeks she's going to make it so if your family's fully vaccinated, you're allowed to go to the park for a picnic. And it's 2-3 weeks they're going to be up to 4,000 cases a day by then. It's going to be a fucking disaster.
It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a mess.
They'll have to back away from it, but also it's so stupid. It's impossible to police. The parks will just be full of fuckwits who go, yeah, I'm fully vaccinated. No, you can't make me show you anything.
You can't make me show anything.
They'll be in much bigger groups than just the people from their own house.
And fucking, you've got ScoMo giving it a bit of, we can't have any more lockdowns. It's like, what? Is there an election coming soon? Is there, ScoMo? Is there an election coming soon? Is that what it is, mate? Because the economy can't handle any more lockdowns. Well, I think the economy can handle less death.
And that's the thing, and can handle the health system not collapsing completely.
And fucking this guy would rather be elected prime minister than see people alive. And I think if the opposition parties don't jump on that, there's something really wrong. You know, I think I feel finally Andrews said today, Dan Andrews said, it was yesterday, I think. Somebody said, how do you expect to be, it was one of the after questions, how do you expect to be elected again with all these lockdowns? And he said, I don't care. I just want you alive. And that was his only answer. I don't care. I just want you alive. And he was pissed when he said it. He was pissed off.
Yeah.
So it might have been in the heat. But it sounded honest to me. I just don't care. I just want you alive. I don't, you know. And he was also pissy because Gladys has basically declared Victoria an okay place to go. And Victoria's going, it's fucking not. You're not coming from New South Wales. And now what they've got to do is fucking put police at all the borders. There are something like 30 borders from New South Wales into
there are
Victoria.
many points where you can cross the border. Yes,
and fucking,
there's a couple of main ones, but there's lots of smaller ones.
Oh, there's heaps of small ones, and you know, people will go to the fucking quiet ones.
Because people are fuckwits. People are self-absorbed, self-entitled fuckwits.
Right. When I on Monday I went to the methadone doctor. You have to have a urinary drug screen. Okay, yes. You have to piss in a little jar, and they check the little jar, and they say, "You're bad. You've had heroin. You're bad. You've had Smarties." And when I say Smarties, what I mean is the chocolate-covered lolly, not any drug. They have a thing about Smarties. And the nurse, the pathologist nurse that I go to is an anti-vaxxer.
Oof. It's really disturbing when medical people are anti-vax.
It just fucking blew my mind. I just went, are you fucking kidding me? And then I go to my doctor, right? And I've got my mask on. He says, oh, I don't know why anybody bothers wearing a mask. And I'm going, well, it's so that the droplets coming from my mouth don't attack you and give you a disease. And he says, oh, yeah, but all the mutations now, it's got away on us. And this will be with us for 5 years and get worse and take out 1/8 of the world population easy. And he said, it's pointless now. It's all pointless. It's been run so badly that we might as well just get rid of the masks and live our lives.
He's a doomer. He's a doomer. He's been black-pilled.
He's been black-pilled, and he's basically, he doesn't give a fuck. And he's basically going, oh yeah, no, it's over now. You know, when I went up to the snow, I had to fill in all these forms because he went up for a ski. I had to fill in all these forms, and I had to isolate in my chalet for 3 days. Oh. And then I managed to have.
I just want to punch someone who complains I had to isolate in my chalet.
I had to isolate in my chalet for 3 days. Fuck you. And 3 days. 3 days.
Oh.
Fuck off. And then he said, and all the people from Sydney, they were just skiing around happily on the fresh powder. By the time I got out, they'd fucking ruined the fresh powder. And I'm going, why were you skiing with people from Sydney? And why am I in the same room as you? If you didn't fucking prescribe me the drugs that I want right now, I'd be fucking out this door so fast. And he was going, I mean, and I don't see the problems that it's caused. And I said, well, it has. It's taught us that globalism doesn't work. It's taught us that the economy system that we've invented and management system doesn't work. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, okay, at the end of the Second World War, they changed management to include everything, right? It didn't matter if you were manufacturing widgets or atomic bombs or fucking clothing. What it was you had inputs, outputs, and marketing. That's all it was. It didn't matter what it was that you were making. Didn't matter the product. You had inputs, outputs, marketing, and the workforce was instantly trained and instantly available wherever you went, and the world was infinitely able to provide resources. We now know that there is not an infinite earth. It does not exist. We now know that, but this system was basically invented to rebuild Europe and rebuild Japan as fast as possible to keep the buffer between Western capitalism and the Soviets as fast as possible so that the domino theory that they had at the time wouldn't happen. And they were going to change it 40 years later. 40 years later, the corporates and the weapon industrial complex, what do they call it?
The military industrial
complex said, we are making so much money out of this system that there is no fucking way we're going to change it. We're just going to keep it rolling. And they have for nearly 90 years. And it's starting to break. It's starting to show. We now have had this international pandemic, and we now know globalism doesn't work if it stops. We now know that Australia needs to make its own medicine. Our manufacturing that the Liberals killed off was a mistake because we can't make anything and we can't sure as fuck buy anything. We need to
make
the
casualization that we were talking about, not sustainable. Absolutely not sustainable.
Because you're going to kill off your 18 to 25-year-olds so fast. Right, that you're going to have a generation gap that basically means by the time the millennials are old, they're not going to have anyone to basically look after them. They're in deep shit, basically, and we also have to seriously look at our defence procurement, because we're going to get into a situation where countries are going to say, no, I'm not going to sell you these weapons anymore. And we're going to get into a situation where we're going to have to look at our allies who are going to turn around and say, you know how these sea levels are rising and an eighth of our population is dead? We're no longer going to let anyone come in our borders, including you. And we're not going to come and help you if you get in trouble. And I hate to say this, Angry, but there's this big fucking fat resource-rich country in the Southern Hemisphere that's got a Western-style lifestyle that a lot of fucking countries on the coast are eyeing off. And they're going, you know what? I reckon if it fucking shit pushes to shove, this might be a nice place to hang out. And there's not many of them, so we could fucking tell them to start speaking whatever language we decide.
Dramatized in Tomorrow When the War Began, which was written like 40 years ago, where someone just looked and said, if there was a horrible resource crunch, that we can see happening now, and if it just got worse and worse and worse, are people going to pretend that it's not there for the taking? Because I don't think they are going to pretend.
I don't think they are going to pretend. And guess who's got all the rest of the uranium in the world?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
who's got all the rest of the coal in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this question. Do you think Scotty from marketing could win? I think there's every chance he will win because the Murdoch media machine is powerful and warps people's brains. And
they are pushing so fucking hard. They are pushing so hard that 85 people fucking walked on a freedom rally just last week about not wearing masks and not having to have their fucking 5G chips that were invented by Bill Gates injected into them, right? Yeah. It's now assumed by most fucking doctors, this scares me, most fucking doctors assume that only 50% of Australians are going to get vaccinated. Africa has a better vaccination rate all around than we do.
Yeah. It's it's. I've ceased trying to predict the future because everything's so fucking weird, and million to one shots
I'm so keep into happening.
It. You're into the weirdness. Embrace the weird.
I'm so into predicting the future. I love predicting the future with the chaos principles of small initial conditions make wild wild fucking changes. And so what I do is I put human nature into these wild predictions. One of my predictions was that ISIS would be stopped because they would find out their source of money and shut down their money, shut down their accounts. And they did. And ISIS is a shadow of its former self because basically they shut down their money and the bosses, the mafia bosses who own it, took the money and ran, which is what they were always going to do. They were always going to cash out. When it looked dodgy, they fucked off. And now you've got all the true believers trying to make the caliphate and still fighting in places like Syria. They're not fighting in Afghanistan anymore because the Taliban said no more of that. And
God knows what's happening there as well.
Yeah, no money, no guns, goodbye.
They've suddenly got to make deals with the international banks to actually access what funds the Afghan government theoretically had. So it's strange times. It's very strange times.
But the international bank are a little bit slow to give the Taliban their money, and the international bank is faced with a bit of a conundrum because the Taliban always used to make their money off heroin, and the Chinese used to there's two types of heroin you can get, and this is something I know. You can get Afghan brown or China white. China white comes from the Golden Triangle. But what a lot of people don't know is about a third of China white comes from Afghanistan, and they just take the Afghan brown and reprocess it into China white. China white is, face it, better than Afghan brown, but Afghan brown is a lot cheaper. It's also a lot dirtier and a lot nastier, and it's spotty. But in a pinch, it'll do the job. And ridiculously, this is the most ridiculous part. During the American invasion of Afghanistan, Afghan brown, its quality improved. They're in the middle of a war and their fucking drug quality improved. And it's like, to do that, you've got to get actual chemists with actual labs to do that. And
it's the entrepreneurial spirit. It's just the entrepreneurial spirit coming through. It's
the American way. The other thing about the American way, and they're in a bit of trouble, is that because this is funny. This is really funny, right? I get given calm down drugs, right? Because, and I'm happy to admit this live, because I can be abstinent from drugs for 3.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I can. After 3.5 months, my body starts to say to me, okay, enough is enough. You're hurting. You are fucking doing this all the time. We have been pushing you and pushing your ass along and your mind along for a long time. And it hurts when you go to sleep. It hurts when you stand up. It hurts when you go for a piss. I've had enough, and we're no longer talking to you, and you know what to do. You know what to do to fix this. So why don't you fucking get off your ass and go and fix this? You've got the money, so go and fix it. And I go, well, no, guys, we've got to, and my body's going, no, go and sort it out. And I'm starting to go, they've got a point. They've got a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to the methadone line, okay, and this is all the time, when you go to the methadone line and there's the lineup of junkies trying to get off the gear, right? This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get off the gear. The topic of conversation is, what are the specials this week? And one guy will say, oh, I've got some Afghan brown for like really cheap. It's, it's $25 a point. Yeah. And another guy will come, oh, I managed to get some China white. It's like, it's $40 a point, but it's just fucking heaven. You can cut it in half and get 2 deals. And then you'll have someone else going, oh, the meth that's been coming in, the crystal meth that's been coming in is just awesome. And it's so cheap. I bought a bag of 30 and it's like, I can't stick it in my pocket. And I'm just sitting here listening to this going, no. And my body's going, you have the money in your pocket, you fat fuck. Let's go.
Yeah. And so I learned that years ago. I had housemates who were in methadone, and she just said, the only topic of conversation in the methadone clinic is where to score.
The only thing. It's the only thing in the line. And I basically am trying desperately to go, no, I don't want to. And my heart and soul says, you fucking do want to. You really want to. And you know what heroin is like. And with one hit, all of this hurt goes away. All of it. And you will feel fucking great for 8 hours. And I'm going, no. And they say if you take the crystal meth, you'll feel great for 3 days. No. And so I take my calm down drugs, and then I can go, actually, no, it's okay. I don't have to. And the body goes, all right, okay, we can handle it.
We'll do this one for now.
For today, we'll let it go. And usually I can. Usually, if I can just stop them screaming for a few days, we're okay again. But 3 months later,
happens again. All right, I just want to say hello to Project Redfoot, who came in. And Safa asked, drugs from Afghanistan come from Australia? Yes, the heroin and derivatives. almost all come from Afghanistan, some from Central and East Asia. Well, basically, it's all coming. Afghanistan's Central Asia, so it's all coming from somewhere from Afghanistan through to East Asia. Heroin is not as in the poppies. They're not grown in Australia. Actually, they are in Tasmania for medical use, but I mean, in terms of drug people,
90% of the legal opioids in the world come from Tasmania.
What cracked me up is because I remember reading a story that wallabies were jumping the fence and nibbling on the plants and then being too stoned to find their way out. And I was thinking, well, it must be high fence. Then I went to Tasmania for a holiday, and the fields of poppies, the fence is only this high, which is why the wallabies and the whole thing to stop you from taking the stuff that's used to make heroin and morphine is little signs going, hey, no, don't, okay? Just don't.
They are vast fields.
They're huge paddocks and when they flower, it's really pretty because opium poppies are really pretty. Bright red, whole fields of red.
There is no security. There never has been.
There's cameras.
There will be.
There's cameras. They're just like, we'll get you. But it just cracked me up. You could literally just step over this fucking fence. But there's a sign saying, hey, don't. Okay.
Here's the other thing, though. It escapes the fence. And you're not allowed to step over the fence.
Of course it would. Yeah.
But it's all on the side of the road. You can stop your car and just pick the shit up off the side of the road. And there's nothing illegal about that.
Well, there is. That is completely illegal. It's still a controlled substance. Just because you find it
stepping over the fence, right? So they can't get you for stepping over the fence, but you're not allowed to have a controlled drug. You're right.
Yes. The same technically if you find magic mushrooms that are just growing in a field somewhere and cops get you in possession, that's a serious crime. And you go, but it was just mushrooms growing in a paddock. And no. You know what it is. Yeah.
You haven't got fucking normal mushrooms with it. You've just got magic mushrooms and some blue meanies. And you're not interested in fucking gourmet cooking. Or you are. But
you might be. You might be.
It's a very special gourmet cooking.
Very special.
Best to have it in tea. Let it go. Stop. Anyway, fucking at the moment, this makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Because of the international shutdown.
Yes.
Drugs that aren't marijuana are very difficult to get.
Of course. No international travel. Yes.
There's no international travel. And so basically getting the gear into town is actually quite difficult. And specials are fucking running out like hotcakes.
Yeah.
If you have access to MDMA, then you write your ticket home.
Yeah.
If you have access to any of the powders, then you're fine. Ironically, this ironics the shit out of me. When the pandemic first started, there were some business people who may or may not have been connected to government. I have no idea. Stockpiled cocaine. They brought in fucking tons of it. Who knows how? Who knows how they did that?
Private jets, private boats, things that don't go through customs.
Not private. Anyway.
All right. Okay. Oh no. I know what you're saying. Oh. Okay. Yeah. I don't want knocks on my door in the middle of the night.
No, you don't. Yeah. FedEx. Anyway, fucking tons of it came in, and they sat on it, right? And sat on it, because cocaine's one of the few drugs that doesn't go off. As long as you keep it cool, it's fine. And so then as soon as it was hard to get, they fucking started to let it out, and they were making bank. And they thought, oh, it'll last until the end of the pandemic. And of course, it lasted a year and then gone. Pandemic hasn't finished. And so they're getting knocks at the door going, got any? No. Why not? Because no.
Because no one's traveling internationally. Yeah.
Anyway, fucking, there's been some really ridiculous fucking stories. I heard a great story from a pilot. So this guy's got this brand new Gulf King Air, right? It's this wonderful thing. It's got a storage capacity of 550 kilos. It's like a dream plane, right? You can stuff that fucker full. He's put 680 kilos in.
Yeah.
And fuck me, he got into trouble over this Torres Strait Island and crashed near Darwin. And when they went to rescue him, they found, fuck me, 680 kilos worth of drugs.
Yeah.
What a dick. What a dick. It was
what
amazing.
you do if you're in trouble is throw all that shit overboard.
Like, what are you doing? And the pilot who was talking to me said, was 2 trips too hard to organise?
Yeah.
Because it's a light plane. No one gives a fuck. Light planes go in and out all the time, right?
Yeah.
They only care about the heavies because they make trouble for radar. Light planes, visual flight rules, fucking as long as they're not fucking in anyone's way, they don't give a shit. They can fly all over Australia. One of the things about Europe is that they have very tight. I missed that one. Do you think Peter Dutton wears those BDSM leather masks at home? Yes. Basically, Europe has very tight fucking airlanes. The rest of it is military. The military is allowed to fly around anywhere, and they have very tight airlanes. Same with America. They have very tight airlanes, and the militaries are allowed to fly around anyway. In Australia, we have tight airlanes between Sydney and Melbourne, and Canberra's sort of in there as well. Right. The lane from Sydney to Brisbane is sort of fairly well laid out, but it's not hugely a problem. Everywhere else is free as a bird. You can fly fucking wherever you want. And if the military are doing exercises, they put on a NOTAM, notice to all airmen, it's air people. They're about to call them no taps, notice to all air persons, right?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Okay, so notice to all air persons. And they say, oh, we're having military exercises in a box that's this big. And the boxes are usually fucking huge. And they say, if you fly in these areas, expect planes going Mach 1.5 or 2.5 to go past you in a big hurry. Also,
just be aware. Be aware.
Mistaken for a drone and shot down. We strongly suggest that you avoid this box, and they do. People go, no, don't go there.
What you made me think of, if you ever drive around Great Ocean Road, the Surf Coast, there's a bunch of little bays, and a lot of them will have signs. If you see some dodgy looking fuckers unloading stuff from a boat in the bay, don't go near them. Keep driving, but call this number, but don't stop and talk to them, okay? Because they're going to be bad people who don't want anyone to see them. So, and what the fuck, YouTube? That was a freezer martini I was drinking. And now I'm just having some water to cleanse my palate.
Cleanser.
And now I'm going to try my freezer daiquiri, which I think I just got perfect, but I have to taste to be sure. And Celtic King is having all sorts of sexual fantasies about you too, Aidsy, just so you know.
Thank you, Celtic King. That's nice.
I thought you'd like that, yeah.
I do like sexual fantasies about me. I don't get them as much as I used to. And the trouble is, when I used to get them, I didn't know I was getting them. I hate that.
That's the autism at work there.
Well, when I was at uni, apparently I was fucking hot stuff. And I didn't know. I thought I was just fucking a horrible meatbag that everyone just thought was ugly.
No, you had that acrobat bod. That was
I not only had the acrobat bod, I had the rest of the swimming bod, and
that's right, because you got the swimming before, yeah.
And then I had the acrobat bod put on top, and apparently the thing that made the girlies go ooh were my calves, and every time
I've got good calves. Just saying.
You'll remember her name, Karen.
Yes,
you remember Karen. When she made me a costume and all the other costumiers made me a costume, they used to cut a triangle out of the back of the legs of the pants, right? And I used to go, that's an odd design. They went, no, it's really not. And and one of the girls finally said, mate, if you've got calves like that, you've got to show them off. Half the audience is girls.
Yeah.
And I went, really? And she went, oh, yeah, really.
All right. There's a couple of things I want to address. Kasafa did actually ask me this question on Facebook, but what's with all the Dubbo cases? There are actually a disturbing number of cases in Dubbo. In terms of population, it's the same as Melbourne having 3,000 cases a day, the number of cases that are showing up. And the real tragedy is it's almost all in Indigenous families, kids.
It'll be hitting the Indigenous folks.
The most vulnerable people, and it's going through extended family groups. Again, particularly in the country, many of the Indigenous folk maintain very extended family networks. And that's the majority of the cases are Indigenous kids, which is a fucking nightmare because health outcomes for Indigenous Australians very, very bad. Very bad. Poor. So that's what the Dubbo story is. Two people, both Safa and Celtic King, wanting to see pictures of acrobat Aidsy. I think Celtic is slightly hornier for them, but
pictures of acrobat Aidsy. Look for a show called what was it called? It was a show with me doing a mask show. And
which incidentally was the entire inspiration for me starting YouTube wearing masks, that show, because everything looked so cool in that show.
Yeah, it was. I was stunned because I got the lead role. I didn't think I would, because remember when you and I did the mask show?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, the imaginary invalid. Yes.
Three cuckolds. The three cuckolds.
Oh no, Christ, that was the different one. No, three cuckolds. Lucky someone's paying attention here.
So we did the three cuckolds, and we had a workshop with Russell Cheek.
Yeah, from the Castanet Club, yeah.
And he fucking was brutal. He was fucking brutal. If you put your head down, he would come and grab your chin, like underneath, and pull it up like that, so that you'd learn to keep your head up, because you can't put your mask down.
Yeah, no, the audience has to see the bottom half of your face.
They have to you have to keep your head up, and you have to keep your head straight. You cannot turn. So if you're talking to someone, you can turn that much, which is what we were doing when we were doing the videos.
Yes, that whole thing, because we both learned mask work at uni. That was the whole inspiration for when I started the Angry Aussie channel, wearing the half mask. It's this remarkable thing. you wear an immovable half mask at the top. But if your real human mouth is there, it looks really alive and animated. So, and the half mask is very stylized and forms a particular character, and you bring it to life by making your mouth really expressive.
I remember the show. Now
Yeah.
It was called The Invitation.
Yes.
It was called The Invitation.
And that was directly responsible for Angry Aussie, because when we did the 3 cuckolds, that was the traditional medieval commedia dell'arte masks, but The Invitation incorporated some of those classic masks with the modern cheap plastic masks, just with the chin cut out, and it looked so real. That was my inspiration for the launch of the Angry Aussie channel. Yeah.
And so I had this creepy baby mask, right?
Yes.
With the face cut out, and got told, make a character. And I sort of looked at it in the mirror and went, oh, I'm not going to go baby. That's just what everyone would expect.
Yeah.
So then I started to move my body around and found this older guy and started to and the trick with a mask, right, is you've got to let, and it's hard to get in your head and it's hard to imagine, right? But once you've done it a couple of times, it's fucking dead easy. You've got to let the mask speak. You don't push it, right? You don't say, this is what I want. You go, I surrender to the mask. And I know that sounds weird because it's your brain doing it, but you surrender to the mask. You let the mask say what it wants. And it just clicked with me to let the mask say what it wanted. And I came back out from the mirror and I started to talk and let the mask say what it wanted. It just kept on speaking. Yeah. And I had no fucking idea where any of this was coming from. And I just went, I don't even know what that is. But it was just this guy that was a hardworking farmer type guy that was full of emotions that he couldn't quite describe, but he could physicalize. Like, he never did anything unless it was in tune with his emotions, but he couldn't verbalize them, but he just did them.
Yeah. And the physicalizing is a big thing with masks.
Oh,
if people aren't used to it, when you do it and explore it and you start, and people are going, what are you doing? And I'm just going, what fits? It just fits. It's what fits. Yeah. And even the YouTube thing, like the angry mask was a pretty obvious one. And I did end up with the 4 Halloween masks who I decided were housemates. And the other thing, I eventually used like about 12 different masks at different times. Yeah. And people would kind of say things to me like, do you ever like mix up the characters, forget which is which? And I just, no. The mask is it. The mask is, that's and when I started to explain, like, oh, so the Halloween ones, they're all just scary Halloween. Oh, no. The red one thinks he's very dark and mysterious, but he's like a sad little Dungeons and Dragons nerd. And the yellow one, I don't know, took too many non-prescription drugs at a formative time in his life and is still out there. The one that was originally a witch, and I cut the face off and it looked totally different. Okay, that's just the boring one. That's Mr. Boring. And the vampire, who when you cut off the thing still had red lips and things, was, let's just say, flamboyant. And people's going like, is he gay? I know he's pretty gay. And go, are any of the others gay? And they go, well, Mr. Flamboyant is fucking Mr. Red. But from Mr. Flamboyant's point of view, it's a sympathy fuck. He's not really that attracted to Mr. Red. It's a sympathy fuck.
That's genius. Oh, that's
but it's just what the mask said. It's what the mask said.
What the mask says, right? And so I came out from the mirror and started to talk as Uncle Adrian, and everyone went, "That's got to be it. That's got to be it." And eventually, Uncle Adrian became the central cast, and the story was between Uncle Adrian and Chook Chook, and they had to go on a journey.
Can I just say a thing that will mean nothing to anyone but you and me? But Chook Chook, she wasn't a theatre person. She took that as an elective, and she wasn't. She was, my God, she was good. She was amazing. This means nothing to anyone else, but I just want to relive a memory with Aidsy. Chook Chook was phenomenal. She was so good. She's this little. She was Egyptian. She was an Aussie. Her parents were Egyptian, and she was this tiny little thing. And she just
was brilliant.
She put this mask on, and she was amazing.
Oh God! And it was such a joy because we had a simpatico, because we did a lot of the dialogue together, right? And my thing was that I had to engulf Chook Chook with protection, and her thing was that she knew that Uncle Aidsy was a softie and needed a lot more support and protection than he thought he did. And this thing just was just rolling along, and they would drag each other out of the shit until right at the end when, spoiler alert, Uncle Aidsy dies. And it was beautiful because they did it so well.
I was about to bring up the death scene because that was creepy as fuck, quite honestly.
Beautiful because they basically all came out in the baby masks, right? And they surrounded him, and then they all put up umbrellas. And the last thing you see is because I had at that point 2 masks on, and then I took one mask off and held it up, and then just basically came down under the umbrellas, and then they basically moved the umbrellas, and then I left, and then basically they under their own umbrella took their own mask off and had a different one on, and then they did the umbrellas up, and I was gone and clearly dead. Not a dry eye in the house. It was fucking awesome.
Very good.
And then I went out. How Aussie is a name like Chook Chook? Oh yeah, it was Aussie as fuck. The whole show was Aussie as fuck. There was just no getting around it. And then I went out and donned an angel costume and came back. Instead of KFC, it should be KF Chook Chook. Damn straight.
Damn straight it should be.
Damn straight. So then I come back in an angel costume and everyone's stoked. The very end of a mask show, what happens is the cast turns around, takes their mask off, turns back around and bows, right? And I had half of the second year going, oh, I didn't know it was Aidsy. Oh, I thought it was someone good. Oh, it was really good, but it was him the whole time. I didn't know that. And I just thought that was fucking piss funny. And so did Russell. He just thought that was fucking piss funny because he told me. He told me that people came up and said, that was Aidsy the whole time? Yeah, it was Aidsy the whole time. Yeah. I didn't know it was him. Yeah. I thought it was someone good.
I heard
it was Aidsy.
the at best backhanded compliment I heard so many times. I heard it at you. I heard it at me. I heard it against Ben Heaps. I heard it said to have people going, I didn't know he could do anything that good. So fuck you. They think it's a compliment that said, I didn't know you could do anything that good. Go, oh, I didn't know your mother sucks cocks in hell. But you know, apparently.
That happens.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I got, I still feel bad about it. My lecturers started setting up a situation where I would go to the Lecoq School in France, where I would learn proper mask work and proper clowning, proper artistry.
Sorry, again, literally someone wanted to send Daisy to clown school. So I just want to put that out there, let it sit. Someone wanted to send Daisy to clown
school in the world.
I know, but just as a phrase, someone wanted to send Daisy to clown school.
And the best mask school in the world, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to send me there because I had the chops.
Oh, and yes. That's Marcel Marceau little shit.
By saying, I want to be a comedian.
Oh.
And they were going, okay, I suppose that'll work. And then they saw me
for many years
for a while and went, well, that sucks. And then they saw me being a comedian later on and went, oh, he's using all his mask stuff to be a comedian.
And the character stuff. And
he's doing all of that. Oh,
and that's the same shit. Like when
he's doing all the Dario Fo stuff to be a comedian. Oh, because one of my things was I could be 4 characters on stage at once without leaving the microphone. And my lecturers, Bill and John, rest his soul, Bill and John and Jerry saw one of those shows where I did the 4 characters at once, and I never used to pick up the microphone and walk around. I used to leave it in the stick, and I was doing a bit where I had to be in a supermarket line, and I had to be 4 characters at once, and I had to make it stick, otherwise the joke wouldn't work. And it stuck. The 4 characters were completely recognizable. And I was doing Karen jokes before there was such things as Karen. Trendsetter.
Because it was a line in a checkout. There's going to be a Karen in a line.
There's going to be a Karen, and she was putting her 50th can of tuna in the six items or less line. And then she complained about 1 can of tuna being too expensive. And the girl at the checkout, who was 15 and was really only interested in going home and fucking Evan, rang up Terry to go and do a price check on. And so then this whole thing back and forward in the line happens, and then I end up tangoing because Terry doesn't turn up for a long time, and I said, darling, we will go and check the price together, and I tango her to the to the tuna and dip her and say, oh look, it is $3.45, and dip her back, and then take her back to the center of the line. Bye bye, Angry and AZ. Love you both. Oh, see you, Kilda King. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And tangoed her back, and she promptly vomited into the bag, and the checkout chick said, you only get 1. And while I tangoed her, she fucking got everyone through. And I basically had 3 items, and she got out 3 bags, and I said, I thought you only got 1, and she said, you get 3. And that was the end of the joke, and fucking brought the house down. And
nice.
It was the stupidest line, right?
Yeah.
You get 3. And then I said, I saw this guy, this creepy guy, waiting at the door, and I'd reference him every now and again, and I'd look at him, and the thing they taught you in theatre school was, if you can see it, so can they.
Yes.
So if you're miming anything, you've got to see it. But if you in theatre, if you can see it, so can they. And I was very careful to look at this guy at the door in the same place.
Yes. Yes.
And finally, I watched him come to the checkout chick and grab her ass and kiss her deeply. And she said, I've just got to finish up. And she presses one button and the Z count goes, and she says, that'll do. And he grabs around the front, and I'm thinking, this is probably something I shouldn't look at, but I need to. Then the manager said, you should probably go now. And I said, yes, I probably should. And he said, yes, because it's my turn. And I went, okay. And I left. And that was the end of it. That was the end of the gig.
I was going to bring up a couple of things, what you were saying about seeing something. Although he was before your time, there was a tutor, Owen Weingott, very old school.
I met him.
He's very good. Like, he did the thing like in my first year where he says, you've got to look at the thing. And he goes, and he showed us, he goes, here's me seeing someone stand right in front of me. Here's someone, I'm looking at someone who's 10 feet away. And I'm looking at someone who's 100 feet away. And we were like, fuck. It's like he didn't move his head at any of them, but you just went,
just saw.
No, it was face to face with someone. It was someone 10 yards away, and it was someone 100 yards away. And it was like, ooh, weird.
It's
also,
real.
I wanted to bring up Facebook memories. You don't use Facebook because it involves text, which is upsetting to you. But I actually like the memories things. It tells you what you did on this day, last year, year before, blah, blah, blah. 11 years ago is when we started the YouTube collaborations, because until this week, the references were to my writing partner. And then there was a post saying, I kind of should introduce my writing partner so people who know who I'm talking about. And then there was a post referring to Adrian. And then after we collaborated for an extended period, it's Aidsy. And here's the thing. When Aidsy and I ran into each other in a line at the Melbourne Comedy Festival 11 years ago, so it's 11 and a half years ago because the Comedy Festival was in like April. We ran into each other. I haven't seen you since Mitchell. Let's hang out. And I explained YouTube to Aidsy, and he went, this is exactly what we trained for, because we had to devise pieces and we had no budget, we had no costumes, we had no special effects, and you just had to do something and make people believe it. And we just went, oh my God, we didn't know it at the time, but our training was preparing us for YouTube.
For this.
It was ridiculous. And sorry, UK Demon, hello. Sorry, I just want to say, someone called UK Demon said, what's the channel about? Safa gave the perfect answer. It's about everything and nothing at the same time. Thank you, Safa. That is a spot-on answer.
That is really right, isn't it? At the moment, we're kind of being indulgent, but kind of being educational in the sense that, okay, so for our new friend, myself and Angry went to uni many years ago.
Yes, probably at least 5 years ago. We may look. We may look youthful and spry, but we're not just out of uni, is what I'm saying. We're not just out of uni. So, God, he is never going to stop laughing at that. I'll send him out of the room. So, yes, Aidsy and I were at uni together a couple of years ago, and we did a theatre degree. So, and then we didn't see each other for ages. Then we ran into each other at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and then we started collaborating with stuff on YouTube. So there's 10 years of videos of AZ and I working together on YouTube, basically. So, yeah. So I think that hits Safa pretty hard too. Yeah. So, So AZ and I have a shared history, but we also have a shared education, which is actually quite important, because I think sometimes we probably shorthand stuff to each other that we understand completely just by doing very casual references to it. But tonight we are both reliving some memories that are just our memories, but also we're trying to explain stuff as well. So exactly as AZ says, we're being a little bit indulgent and a little bit educational.
What were the three things that were the most important things that you learned?
Oh, Jesus.
Because I know them.
Okay, well, you tell me. You tell me what you have in mind.
Okay. The haze.
Hey?
Were very important. I hated them at the time, which is when we went, hey.
Present.
And hey.
Yeah.
Right? And present. Yeah. Right?
Present, yeah.
We used to have to do that for an hour and a half during a 3-hour shoot. It was the most boring thing in the world. Okay. Yeah. But when I was on stage at the Harold Park Hotel doing a 5-minute gig and I was in trouble, Jesus Christ, I'd forgotten a whole chunk of joke, and without it, the next joke was just not going to work, and I had to figure out something, anything, to fucking coat hanger this thing together. And I found myself putting one foot forward and one foot back and opening up my arms and not going, hey, but going, and so then, right? Yeah. And I realized I did it automatically, and I did it without thinking, and I did it basically bringing them in to my next trick. And I went, I have been drilled in this so that I will be calm in my next presentation. And I went, oh, thanks, Jerry.
Yeah. No, it's, you get stuff ingrained in your reflex. It's basically the aristocrats. That's what we're doing. You're just doing a big present, like.
You're just doing a big present, and you do it at any time. So the second most important thing I learned was from Bill Blakey. Apart from other million things I learned from Bill Blakey.
Well,
was when you're busking and you've got the hat, right? You look people in the eye with the hat out, right? Smilingly, expectantly, smilingly, not threateningly, right? And you wait for them to make the decision. Because they can decide not to put money in the hat, but don't just put it in front of them and then walk away. Put it in front of them and wait till they make the decision. Because, 7 times out of 10, they'll go for the change.
Yes.
Brilliant. And in fact, it works for job interviews. It works for getting the boss to do something. It works for getting employees to do something, and Jesus God, it works for getting students to do something. 9 times out of 10, you look at them and wait for them to decide, and they'll toe the line. And the last thing that I learned was, and it's so important, was that the theatre of sticks and mud will overcome the Opera House any day of the fucking week. That's what we learned, was the theatre of sticks and mud. And the theatre of sticks and mud is basically literally in your first week, they would drop you off in the bush, right? And say,
the bridle track.
tomorrow morning, this evening, tomorrow evening, we will come and see you put on a theatrical spectacle. And what you had was literally the bush around you and some very limited resources. And you had to just use your imagination and make some shit up. There was one group who found a whole bunch of blue luminous algae, and they got the girls and got them naked and rubbed it all over them. Yeah. And then they dropped them underwater and got reeds in their mouth so they could breathe. And so then they got a fireball and threw it in the water like fire. And of course, underwater, you can see the fireball hit, and they all stood up, glowing blue. These 4 skinny, fucking good-looking 19-year-old girls, like, stood up naked and started walking toward the shore, and started singing. And it was like, it was really cool. I didn't get to see it live. I got to see the video. But then they sat around the fire and basically took the firebrand out of the fire, and they had secreted cans of it's kerosene, and drank it, and then fire breathed up into this tree, which, you know, is bad because you can burn the tree. But what they'd done was they doped a whole bunch of newspaper in kerosene, and it just blew up. And inside the newspaper was this guy that they painted up, and he was naked too, and he just dropped out of the tree and said, "This is the Ixodril Odin form of what needs to happen. You will be given the power." And it was just awesome. Fear of sticks and mud. You just take what you get and you make something imaginative. People used to make a lot of money in corporates because what they do is they go to the corporate conference, watch the conference, and then have 20 to 30 minutes to make a summary of the day's events and do it as a circus. And they'd do it. And they'd pull 10, 15 grand out of that. And lots of conferences fucking got them back and got them back and got them back until they fought, and then it was gone. One group was deeply into circus, and they made their own circus called Circus Monoxide. And I don't know if it's still going. It could be. Unfortunately, the guy who made it died. He was one of my best friends, and that hurt pretty bad. But his
name lives on.
Going, hey?
His name lives on. And also, hello, nobody who's come in to say hi.
Hey, nobody. How are you, man? So effectively, what it reminded me of was the SAS, or the French Foreign Legion. You go into theatre media not thinking you can do anything. And you come out of theatre media knowing there's nothing you can't fucking do.
Yeah.
It's just, you come out like fucking this fucking theatre warrior. It's like, you know, stick me in a musical, I'll learn to fucking sing. Stick me in a film, I'll learn to ride a horse, don't worry about it. Fucking, there is nothing you can't fucking do when you come out of theatre media. It's just, you're just so pumped. Full of framing, full of matrix shift, full of just everything, you know.
One of the funniest things I remember, because we had to do, there was one unit you had to do where it was devised theatre, and you literally had to devise things. And the payoff was you've devised the show. You now have to dance around the college campus and attract a crowd, make them follow you to where you're going, and then you perform the show. The structure of the show was a medieval story. There were 5 people in your troupe, and there were 5 archetypes. But then you could do whatever you want within that archetype and whatnot. And so we do this thing where you dance through the crowds and make people follow you and get to a performing area. And where we were at college, it's actually most famous for its journalism course. But besides us, the theatre weirdos and the journalism, there was nursing. There was a pretty big business course as well. And I had friends who were bizzos. And when we did this devised thing where we danced through the crowd and drew people along and did a show, one of my mates who was a bizzo went like, I could never do that thing you just did. And I went, dude, I could never sit in a lecture hall that you sit in and listen to the shit you listen to. Okay?
I couldn't do that.
No, we all have our thing.
Do you remember when they made us do the exam? Because we were.
Oh my God! Yeah, because everyone else got mad that we didn't do exam.
In the whole 3 years, because they said we're a proper uni and a proper uni course. You have to do an exam. Yeah. And we went, what? We don't do fucking exams. We don't sit in fucking buildings. We run around naked and fucking paint our shit on our bodies. And they went, no, you have to do an exam. So we got 2 points for spelling our name right. We got 5 points for spelling theatre media right. We got 2 points for getting our course coordinator right. I think we had to get 10 points to pass. And question regarding 80s videos. Days you remember to talk with Angry about the card grave videos. If Angry doesn't know what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Right. They took down the code grave videos because they weren't they had a big change, and they made them all private. Made them all public.
I saw you re-uploaded some,
but
or you must have just remade them
public again.
And they showed up in my stream.
Are you going to get in trouble for just making the nudity public? Because you remember we had to go through the.
They showed up in my feed. I actually meant to ask you about that. But this answers that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to make the links happen. I just put them all back up so people could see it. But isn't there a warning saying watch this and don't watch that? And I don't know.
Yeah. So UK Demon is asking if we're a right-wing extremist channel. No, we're an anarchist extremist channel.
Sort of a left-wing anarchist thing going on. Yeah. I'm only standing up because I'm making coffee.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm only sitting down because I'm having a freezer daiquiri, but that's okay. My freezer daiquiri actually froze, so there's enough non-alcohol content in this that it froze a bit. So I think I'll just keep it in the fridge from now on. But mind you, my freezer martini did not freeze, so it's got a high enough alcohol content that it doesn't freeze.
I'm very interested to know why anyone would think we were right-wing extremists.
Oh, I don't know. UK Demon, you don't see how this channel promotes queer issues. just by AIDS. Oh, because you're wondering because we've got the flag. We've got the flag behind us. It's just
funny you should say that. Because I'm currently in a relationship with a boy who was supposed to pop in this afternoon, but we ran out of time. Yeah. Because I called him and said, do you wanna? Before I go, he went, nothing. Like he ghosted me, and I went, oh, that's not good. And then I went downstairs for something, and then I noticed his bike wasn't there. And I went, oh, he's gone for a ride. Because he can't answer his phone on the ride. And then he came back for the ride and said, yeah, I'll come up. And I'm going, we've sort of run out of time. Do you want to do it tomorrow? And he's going, oh, yeah. Yeah, because he can't come later because he's got to go to work.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation. We used to live in the same flat, but it's a studio apartment, which means it's a dog box.
It's a room. I'm broadcasting from my kitchen dining room, and it's bigger than AZ's
It's
studio.
bigger than my entire house,
basically.
right?
Just my kitchen and dining room.
And basically, he lived with me for 6 years, like cheek by jowl, asshole by elbow, right? And then our rents crashed. And then he said, I'm going to get another flat for my office. And then he got in there and went, there is so much room just for me. I'm going to hang here and go and visit my boyfriend every now and again like normal people do. And I was going, oh, but I'll be lonely. And he said, yeah, but then I don't have to smell your farts. And
harsh, very harsh.
No,
harsh. Fair. I'm only saying harsh because I'm not there. If I was physically there, I'd say fair. I mean, that's the thing that's happening in our house because I'm doing the weight loss thing. And I'm speaking of on this day memories on Facebook, the streams from a year ago. Yeah. I'm 20 kilograms heavier a year ago than I am now.
True story.
And it's really noticeable. It's really noticeable when I suddenly see, who's that chubby bastard? And I mean, I need to lose another 20, but I'm halfway to the goal. But seeing this stuff from only a year ago that I'm 20 kilos heavier. But, yeah.
I will tell you, I've lost 10 kilos too.
Nice, man. Nice.
I need to lose another.
UK Damon. Please don't obsess about the name boy. AZ has a boyfriend. AZ is the boyfriend of the boy. I have a girlfriend. I'm a boyfriend. A thing. Please don't fucking obsess. Mystery 09. When you say toxic machoism, I think you might mean toxic masculinity, which is weird. So someone's just obsessing about you saying you're with a boy. And please don't obsess over silly words like that. We're just using colloquial terms. Yeah.
No.
Admittedly, boss of the house is a little younger than AZ. He's a bit younger than AZ.
My age. Papa still got it. But he was 22 when I met him.
Okay, I'm just going to derail this whole conversation, and fucking Safa might remember this because he was there earlier in the year. We had a meet up with a few YouTube people, and we were in a cafe, and there were so many of us, we were spread across 2 tables, and AZ was at a different table, and I went over to see him to see how it's going, and he's showing me the receipt for the table, and he's going, and I went, what? And he's going, there's a number on there. I said, yeah, there's a number there. And he goes, it's the waiter's number. And it was this cute twink waiter. As soon as you said, Papa's still got it, because that's what he said on this day. He had scored the waiter's number in this cafe, and he was showing it off to me going, oh, Papa's still got it. Papa's still got it. So, yeah.
My boyfriend and I have I don't know if I even should talk about this, but I'm gonna. My boyfriend.
Well, he was there. He was there when you scored this number.
Well, we have an agreement. Yes, we can, but we've both got to be involved and we've both got to agree.
And okay, UK Demon's making a fair point in this weird, messed up age we live in.
Fair. That's actually pretty fair.
That is fair to want to check. Honestly, that is absolutely fair to want to check. But no, we are big on the consent side of things, and underage people cannot legally consent to interactivity with overage people, and I'm 100% in favor of that. But yes. Nettie's giving you a big way to go, by the way, AZ. She might not have heard that story about you scoring the waiter's number before. But as soon as you said Papa's still got it, It was so funny because there was a whole bunch of us across 2 tables, and when I went to see how things were going at Ainsley's table, he's just showing me the receipt, just going, and I'm like, what? And he goes, do you see that? And I said, well, there's some numbers on there. He goes, there's not some numbers, it's his numbers. It's just like, oh my God, Papa's still got it. So it was pretty good.
I got once to pick up this random lady in a line. I was trying to teach this guy that it doesn't matter what you look like if you are personality-wise a decent human being, and you can make someone feel comfortable and make them feel safe and be kind, you can pretty much get them in bed. The other trick, and this upsets me, the trick with guys is to listen to
my God, yes. Saying. Yes.
This kills me. It's so easy. And guys don't do it. Guys just don't do it.
Yeah. Guys, the bar is so low. The bar is so low.
Listen to what chicks say. They're just waiting for their turn to talk. And the other thing is, guys, oh God, tell women what they think.
Oof.
Or what they feel, what they think and feel. I only bring it up because you are widely promoted. What's K?
I don't know. I can't keep up with the alphabet. But I'm assuming it's a positive community, and so I'll stick with it. So
I know what I is, but I don't know what. Oh, A is
asexual.
Asexual.
No, A is asexual. I don't know what W or K is. Actually, the AWK at the end just makes me think of Andrew WK that had that track from a few years ago, Party Hard. Like, sorry. I've just gone now.
Yeah.
I've got off on a weird tangent about Andrew WK being a sexual orientation, which honestly I'm kind of okay with.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in two minds.
Yeah. What are you doing in the closet, Andrew? I'm partying hard.
Can educate us into AWK.
Yeah. So nobody's saying the churchies were laughing but somewhat agreeing yesterday when his mate described nobody as a chick magnet before sharing the story about the woman who fixated on him to the point of walking into my mate. Oh, okay. So the churchies are all laughing but agreeing that nobody is a chick magnet, which is nice.
Well, that's fair.
Fucking works for me. Works for me. Yeah.
Hello. I reckon he needs a stick.
Yeah. Nettie, I think you might be right. K might mean kink. The WK is new to me, but I've now just decided Andrew WK is a sexuality. So it's and the sexuality that parties hard is what I'm saying. So
well, I mean, all sexuality should party hard.
I agree, including asexuals. All sexualities should party hard, as far as I'm concerned. But you should set your own parameters for what partying hard means. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes lying on the lounge watching TV all day is partying hard.
Hard? That's right.
And honestly, sometimes
it's a Netflix bloody marathon.
Yeah.
Or marathon.
Yeah. Sometimes lying in bed all day is partying hard, as far as I'm concerned.
Especially after about 3 eckies.
Exactly. We're staring at the ceiling saying, why won't the ceiling stay still? I thought I was renting a place that had a physically fixed ceiling, but this one keeps moving. There was do you remember Shona? You would. I met her again years later, there was a girlfriend of mine at college, and we're hanging out, and we may or may not have taken something that the kids call acid and gone to a rave and stuff like. And then we crashed that night. We weren't still having the sexual happenings, but we just crashed next to each other and lying down. And she closed her eyes and goes, "Why the fuck are there Aboriginal cave paintings on the inside of my eyelids?"
Ah.
And it's like, oh, okay, the acid hasn't worn off yet. Okay.
No.
Oh dear.
I was at a party fixture with my brother and his friends, youngest brother and his friends.
Yeah.
And we all decided to take illicit drugs, and it was fun. It was good. It was fun. And we next day said, "Geez, this come down's easy, isn't it?" "Yeah, it's really gentle." And then at about 5 o'clock, right? Because we all dropped together. At 5 o'clock, the asshole fell out of this drug. It just went crunch. And it was like,
even before you said it, I knew what you were going to say. Oh God.
Like, oh God. It's absolutely, oh my God. And I looked around at everyone, and everyone went, oh no. And all the friends at the place just made their excuses and fucked off. And it was me and my bro going, have we made a terrible mistake? And he's gone, yep, because we've got to be active tonight because there's a family dinner on this evening. And I go, oh fuck. And I said, I have some savior pills. If you want them, it's your call. But if you want them, you can have them. He said, I will have fucking anything to get out of this. And so I got us a mix of benzos, which was going to stop the cramping. And we were cramping hard. And the come down was vicious.
Because some hallucinogens have stuff in them that's the equivalent of strychnine, which actually helps the trip, but is a poison and will make your stomach cramp. So that's the thing.
We weren't on the trips. We were on the eckies.
Yeah, but it can have this strychnine-like stuff.
Oh yeah, it can have a strychnine in it, and basically we also worked out that it had. Oh, I'm not going to say the full chemical name, but it's basically a filler which pushes the MDMA further up and stretches it out. But it's also responsible for Suicide Tuesday.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So, and again, this is not something I've done because it's illegal, but I may have heard people who like to do an hallucinogen to have fun, weird times, and an amphetamine to keep it going for a day or so. Not me, because drugs are bad, kids.
Drugs are bad.
Okay?
Drugs are bad, okay?
Yeah.
And so I said to him, you have to have these 3, and we have to eat, I know it's going to be weird, but we have to eat a lemon each, and we have to have 4 crunch down vitamin C pills.
Right.
And I will do anything at all. And I said, all right, eat these and swallow it down with a lemon juice. And he was going, and he went, I can feel the lemon juice stinging my gums. And I said, perfect. That's what you want. And I said, the vitamin C tablets will hurt your back teeth. He went, really? And I went, yes. And he went, oh, no. And he says, oh, God, they're really hurting my back teeth. And I said, perfect. Now we're going to have a Barocca in a schooner glass, which you've got to imagine is a pint glass, but a bit bigger.
Yes.
No.
A schooner is smaller than a pint.
Is it?
Yeah, no. In order of sizes, there is the Victorian pot, the New South Wales Midi, the New South Wales schooner, and then the pint. A schooner's like. Okay, I'm now going to look up how big a pint. Now I need to know. Now I need to know.
Yeah. I always thought a schooner was bigger than a pint.
No, pints are bigger. I think at least 50% bigger. A pint is okay. 1 pint is. I see a pint is almost 500 mils. So now I'm going to look up because we're on the internet. How many mil is a schooner? 425. Oh,
so we're really not talking much.
No, they're very close. A schooner and a pint are very close. They're very close.
One of the favourite things that Australian sailors do is they give American sailors pots of beer, and then they start giving them schooners of beer, because American beer, strong beer, is equivalent to our light beer.
Oh yeah, American beer. What's the Monty Python joke? What do American beer and sex in a canoe have in common? They're both fucking close to water. Yeah, and English beers are 8 to 10%.
Right. And so Australian sailors go, I'll have a couple of middies, and they go, oh, that's very nice. And so they have 2 or 3 middies, and they go, let's have a schooner. Come on, you're our guests. We'll have a schooner. And so they have like 4 or 5 schooners, and the Americans like throw these things down, knowing how to handle their beer, and the taste is not that different.
Yeah, it tastes the same, but
3 or 4 schooners later, they're standing on their fucking head. And
like Budweiser's like 2%, and Tooheys is like 4.5%, and it's like, Jesus, it's weird. It's fucking. I remember being in a bar in Sydney, and dude next to me orders a beer, and the bar is very busy, and the bartender says really quickly, "Midi or schooner?" And the guy just looked really confused. And I went, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "Queensland." And I went, "Okay, do you want a little beer or a big beer?" And he said, "Maybe I should start with a little one." I said, "Okay, order a midi now. And if you want more, next time order a schooner." And he goes, "Okay, thank you." And ordered a midi. Because it's different from, and that's the weird, messed up thing. Just going state to state in Australia, they call the stuff. I even thought, like, I went into a bottle shop once. It wasn't for me because I don't drink beer, but it was for a party, and I was buying a bunch of stuff, and I went, "Oh, and a slab of VB," and they just looked up at me and said, "What does that mean?" And I went, "I thought slab was universal," and that's a carton of 24 cans, because every state sells cartons of 24 cans.
Everyone.
I thought it was universal, and I just went on a slab of VB, and they went, "How many is that?" And I went, 24. And they went, "Okay, why didn't you just say that?" And I went, "I thought everyone knew a slab was a carton of 24. Apparently no.
Try ordering a slab of fucking stubbies.
Oh shit! And again, stubby means a very different thing. State. In Darwin, a stubby is 1.75 litres. In New South Wales, a stubby is 375 mils. Those are very different. Those are very different.
I fucking once, when I first came to Melbourne, and I fucking still kicking myself, I went into a bar and I said, "Oh, what's the local beer?" And they went, "It's Carlton Draft," and looked at me like I was shit. And I went, I'll have a midi of that. And the piano player stopped. Everybody looked at me, started to reach for their guns, and I've gone, I've clearly fucked up here.
You've blundered.
A kindly man came over and said, "You're not from around these parts, are you?" And I went, "Really, no." He went, "Are you from that place they call New South Wales?" And I went, "Really, yes." house, and you'll be wanting a pot of beer, which will be Carlton Draft, or you'll be wanting a pint. They only sell pots and pints and ponies, and I thought, oh, thank Christ, a pony is universal.
A pony's a 7-ounce business. Yeah.
Ponies are universal across Australia.
Yeah, that's 7 ounce. Not many people.
But no one will drink
them. A really small one. Yeah.
They're tiny. No one will drink them. I got my middy of Carlton Draft and thought, that's all right. And then I got my pint of Carlton Draft and went, that's all right. And then I thought I better go and have something to eat. And I did. And I kept on drinking pints of Carlton Draft. And then I got pissed and I went home.
Yeah. I remember going into a pub in inner Sydney and they had Resh's DA on tap. And we were like, we have fallen through a time tunnel to the 1970s.
Yeah.
And Resh's DA is still on tap. And I was just saying to like the beer drinkers, you should all get Resh's DA because you can't get it anywhere else. And I have no idea why it's on tap here. And I'm not saying it's a good beer, but I believe this is the only this is the only bar on the planet that has Resh's DA on tap, which was a 70s dad beer. Resh's DA was a 70s dad beer. Loriander is on Twitch. Hello, by the way. Oh, UK Demons. Look, you're saying we're into Trump. Look, only if you say by into you mean we get the wood when we think of Trump and want to give him a reach around, because that's real. That's real. That's very real. But apparently, also, again, because UK Demon was saying someone who just came into the chat, Angela, was also from the Reddit LGBTQIAWK, and no one has explained WK to me yet. And I'm still, until someone tells me otherwise, I am still going with we have declared Andrew WK to be a sexuality. And I will go to my grave with Andrew WK being a sexuality. So
what the hell is WK? Well,
I don't know. No one's told us. No one's told us.
Please educate us as to what WK is.
Yeah. UK Demon is saying there's a Reddit thread about us, which is pretty fucking funny, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it could be worse. You could be throwing that challenge to us on a Friday night, because seriously, if you throw challenges to me on a Friday night, I'm going, like, because I'm not drinking any more alcohol now, but on a Friday night, we tend to go to about 2 a.m. I still have to go to, even though I'm working from home, my workstation is literally just there behind me.
You still have to work.
But I got to stumble out of bed in the morning and
go to work,
put my dressing gown on and fire my computer up and see if anyone wants anything sensible out of me. Honestly, if they expect something sensible out of me on a Friday, they might be barking up the wrong tree. But you know, I'll give it a red hot go. I will give it a red hot go if
do it a fucking slash, mate.
If someone wants something sensible out of me on a Friday. But Friday night, this stream on a Friday night, we tend to go to 2 a.m. And if you are asking for something sensible from me on a Friday night, you might be sorely disappointed, is all I'm saying.
I don't understand why anyone would think we were into Trump.
I think someone's taking the piss. UK Demon, until you tell us what the actual fuck WK is, because I am not joking, I have literally never heard of that. Until you tell us, I am stuck in the world of Andrew WK is a sexuality, which I am part of, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
Until someone disabuses me of the notion, I'm declaring my sexuality to be Andrew WK, quite honestly. So, because we party hard.
UK Demon, just as a thing, right? I am actually a bisexual, and I found out this years ago, accidentally, when some because I was gay as, and then well, I was gay as because I got caught, and I got betrayed by a friend, and my school life sucked. Anyway, come senior years, there was girls in our school, and these 3 girls thought it was going to be very, very funny to send me into a room at a party and get me naked, and then turn up naked, and then watch the gay boys scream and yell at vaginas and run out into the party naked. Yeah. And I saw these ladies come in naked and went, oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. And they were hot. They were very hot. And a friend of mine was saying, you know what to do here. Make it happen. And I went, of course, I will. And they staggered out of there going, that plan did not work at all. That didn't work at all. Because their friends were saying, well, what happened? You've come out, he's not. And they said, yeah, he's still cleaning up and getting ready. And I've got to go and have a shower, and these 2 have got to go home. And I've come out of there, and they said, what did you do? And I went, oh, I can't say. And they went, what did you do? And I went, I can't say. Anyway, one of the footballers who I'd been dallying with some of the other footballers, grabbed me in the hallway and said, come in here with me, and into another room, and said, did you jump the fence? Because he's quite invested in me helping him and some of the other footballers release some of the tension. And I said,
work through some issues. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm quite happy to. And he said, prove it. And I went, okay. And I did. And he said, prove it with him. And I went, that'll be 5. I don't know if I... And I did. And I went, I have to go. And my friend, my very best friend, said, oh, Azy, your mum called and she's waiting to pick you up. And I went, oh, thanks, man. And we ran out of there. And he said, I think if I left you in there, you would have died. And I said, did my mum actually call? And he said, no, we're just getting the fuck out of here. Because I've seen what's happened, and I just didn't think you had it in you, and I know you don't have any more. And I loved him to death. He was straight. Anyway, what I found out was, I found out then I was bisexual, quite pleasantly so. And I thought that all bisexuals were straight down the middle. I thought
right, 50-50. You thought it was 50-50.
I thought you just went for women and men, right? I just thought that was it. And then I found out later on, it was only a few years ago, boys are so weird.
We are, Nettie, we are 100% with you. Boys are fucking weird.
Behind you on that one. I shouldn't have said behind. With you on that one.
No. Again, AZ's the queer half of this entourage. I am the super cis het half. I am prepared to admit boys are super fucking weird.
Super weird.
Yeah.
Super weird. Anyway, it was only like 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, that I found out from an actual person who knows these things, like a doctor person. And I had a thing wrong with me in my genitalia. And he said, well, okay, what's your sexuality? And I said, well, I'm bisexual. And he said, oh, okay, well, do you prefer women or men? And I went,
yes. I think the answer, if someone asks you if you prefer women or men, you just say yes.
Yes. And I said, I don't. And he went, no. Do you waver toward men or do you waver toward women? Because he was trying to diagnose a problem, right? And I went,
yes, no. And it's not a problem. You just are up for it, basically.
Well, because he was trying to diagnose what kind of disease I had. And there are kind of diseases you get from from having the lots of sex with men and lots of sex with women. There are specific, and he said, okay, look, let's try this again. Do you float toward women or do you float toward men? I said, I don't. I like them both. And he said, if I showed you a set of genitals, male genitals and female genitals, which would you like? And I said, I like them all. And he said, do you prefer them, cut, uncut? And I went, well, I've never rejected them unless they've been really gross underneath.
and I'm just going to throw in here, please do not ask Hazy for more information on that, because he has on previous occasions given very graphic descriptions of the grossness. We will just move well past that and just keep going.
Right. Well, I've seen people that have had advanced forms of disease and not noticed, and I've gone, are you fucking kidding me? But I've seen people who, the saddest thing was a woman I met who had an inner labia, which was
inner labia, yes,
that was longer than one side than the other. And
so we have, okay, I'm just going to throw out, for kids who don't know, you have the labia minora and the labia majora, and some women, the labia majora is not particularly prominent. For some women, it is, and that makes some women very self-conscious and whatnot. And it's a complex thing, is what I'm saying.
Particularly the labia minora, it's often different shaped on one side than the other. And,
absolutely.
And they get very, very self-conscious about it. And they get these fucking boys who tell them, oh, that's ugly. And it's like, fuck you.
And I just want to throw out,
count your stars.
I want to throw out to all the women out there, basically labia possessing humans, anyone who has a problem with what you look like, it's their problem, not yours.
Not
fuck
yours.
Fuck them.
Get their clothes on and fuck off. Basically, and so she's gone, I'm a bit, self-conscious. And I go, it's gorgeous. What are you talking about? Anyway, and I said, I can show you some things. And I did, and she liked it. And anyway, so this doctor said basically, if I showed you some genitals, which you like? And I said, I like them all. Okay. Yes, but if I showed you some trans genitals, what would you like? I'm right up for that. But if I showed you, this and that, and I said, I fucking dig that. And I said, look, I'd fuck a hole in a tree. You'd stick a stick in first in case there was a funnel web in there, because a funnel web would give it a bit of,
because we're Australians, we know there could be something in there. There could be something in there.
And a funnel web would go, I'll give you a blowjob, but you won't like it. You will not like it. Essentially, I basically convinced this doctor that I was straight down the middle. And he said, did you know that being bisexual and straight down the middle accounts for approximately 7 to 13% of bisexuals? And I went,
and that actually sticks with every bisexual I know, apart from you. Most of them lean a little bit more towards one gender than the other. You are literally like, let's just go. Whoever you are, let's just go.
Let's just go. And that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought, my bi brothers and sisters went, fucking, let's go for fun. But no, I just went, it blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Yep.
And I just
see, one of the things that cracks me up is heterosexual female friends of mine going, you know what? Sexuality is definitely not a choice. The fact that I'm still attracted to men proves it's not a choice. Okay?
Because men are such pricks.
It's basically like I prefer women as people, but I have no sexual attraction to them. The fact that I'm still heterosexual is the ultimate proof that sexuality is not a choice. I
did once talk to a woman who said if they didn't have dicks and wallets, I'd have nothing to do with them. I went, oh.
Yeah. UK Demon seems very uptight. I'm just saying, UK Demon, you seem uptight. So you can see it, AZ. I'll say UK Demon is saying we have the rainbow flag. Sexuality is not America. No, it's not. But that flag, in fact, here's a little bit of subtlety. That flag that I have in the background is not the flag that tends to be used today. This is actually the original flag that has an extra color on it. So I'm just throwing it out there. This flag I first put up as a background. It was almost, I think it was the anniversary of what were the riots called? Oh, Jesus Christ. I've had one.
Riots.
Stonewall, thank you. Okay, you know it's a bad night when AZ remembers a thing that I forget.
Because I've got brain damage from researched drugs that I took. Yep. The first time I was responsible about drugs and I fucked myself up.
I've got temporary brain damage from the alcoholic beverages I had tonight. No, it was actually on the anniversary of the Stonewall riots. This is the original rainbow flag, which actually has extra colors. The modern rainbow flags has less colors than this. I'm also just showing AZ's and my age essentially by putting this original rainbow flag up.
I did a thing about the Stonewall riots when I was in uni. When I was in uni, in my first and second and half my third year, I was doing English literature, which was stupid because I can't spell or read. But and that was my major. And the people that did English literature were effectively lesbian women who were living together, and their friend who was another lesbian woman who was their close friend, and they were very powerful women, and they made my life very fucking
okay. I just want to throw something out here. What cracks me up every now and then with right-wing fuckheads occasionally using the term feminazis at the moment, and they're referring to women who want some basic rights. AZ and I were at uni with some second wave feminists who were the tutors and lecturers who actually had control over whether we passed or failed units. They hated AZ. They loved me. I was so in with these and these were boomer feminists basically. So for those, okay, so second wave feminists were boomers, third wave feminists Gen X, and a little bit of millennials, older millennials. But the second wave feminists, the boomer feminists, and they were in some positions of power at the uni AZ and I went to, they fucking hated this guy. They fucking loved me. I was so in with them. It was so funny.
So
when he would tell me the stories, it was so good.
There was a rule, right, that if you failed the same unit twice in your major, you got expelled essentially for a year.
Oh yeah, you can actually get kicked out of the uni. And this is a thing you faced, if I remember correctly.
3 times.
Yes.
3 times. And each time I had to basically...
Sorry, I just want to interrupt you momentarily and let you go on. UK Demon, I am going purely on not knowing who you are. Every comment you have made actually makes you look like an absolute cunt. So if you are not a pathetic, sniveling, right-wing troll cunt, you need to take a moment and do a little bit of self-reflection and think about why literally everyone thinks you're a right-wing troll cunt. If you are a right-wing troll cunt, you can just fuck off. If you are not, you need to take a little moment to have a little bit of self-reflection and wonder why everyone thinks you're a piece of fucking shit. If you do not give me evidence that you are taking a moment to think and do a bit of self-reflection, you can fuck off, okay? Because I have no time whatsoever for self-absorbed, obnoxious troll cunts. Okay, so if you're not willing to take that moment for self-reflection, you can just fuck off. And that's the last I will say on the matter, because I will not speak on it again. I will literally just block you because I don't have time for stupid self-absorbed cunts. Anyway, Aidsy, you were telling us a story.
And so basically 3 times I got to basically sit in front of a panel of people and talk about a book I hadn't read, or I had 24 hours to read this book and then talk on it. First time it happened, I was there for 8 hours, no break, except for one piss break I took. Second time I did it, I was there for 10 hours and I was allowed to have lunch. And the third time I did it, I was there for 4 hours, and there were 3 guys on the panel that said, look, this is going nowhere. He knows the stuff. He's not going to break. He's fucking going to pass. And the 3 women were pissed, and they passed me. I managed to get through, and they still fucking hated me. And every time something came up that was, I went for a scholarship that there was no way. I went for another scholarship that there was just fucking no way. And then I went for a prize, and I presented the prize at the finals, and the judges came around and went, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's really good. And someone else got it, and the judges are all going, that's kind of weird. We didn't really rate that. And
well, and again, I want to stress, AT was the queer guy in this. I was the cishet guy. And AD was the one who got up their nose. I was the one who was in their good books. It was fucking hilarious.
Know that what they had heard in my first year was I was bagging the shit out of lesbians.
Right.
That's what they'd heard, right? Now, the truth is that me trying to be a comic, I was assisted by the superstar lesbian comic in the uni, who Sue-Ann Post, who was a fucking legend to me. She just really helped me out, really opened doors for me, really fucking really pushed the right places. I was really supported by her and a couple of other people. Cannot thank her enough.
I want to throw in one thing. Sue-Ann Post, for those who don't know, she's again a Gen X. She grew up in a Mormon community in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney, and she was, of course, cast out when she realized she was gay and whatnot. She was at uni at the same time as me and Aidsy. And again, her sense of humor was so good. Like, she was organizing, and there was the Mitchell campus was kind of conservative. It was pretty conservative, and they were trying to organize this sort of women only social thing. And as a joke, because Posty and I got on really well when she said it's women only one, and my girlfriend at the time, Shona, was going like, Shona wants to come, Posty, but she wants me to come too. Can I come if I leave my penis at the door? And she said, only if I'm the one who removes it. And I'm going, okay. Okay, you got me. You got me. You got me.
Anyway, so halfway through third year, there comes the Pride March. And
yes,
there's a couple of things that happened. The security at Bar Night was done by the Rugby Union Club. The Rugby
could
Union
be questionable. I'm just throwing it out there. They could be questionable.
Yeah. The Rugby Union Club, a year or two before, there was an inter-college games they had. And there was one game where they had a women's rugby game. And the lesbians, a few other women got together and said, we should do that. And they said, but none of us knows the rules. So they approached the rugby club and said, can we play rugby, but we don't know the rules? Can you help us? And a couple of the guys in the rugby team went, yeah, we can do that. And they trained them for like 6 months. And the rugby guys, they were their girls. And a lot of them would turn up to training going, and it was one-on-one training. Okay, so you got to try this and try that. And then run them around the field a couple of times. And a lot of these girls were a bit portly, and so they were going, I need to smoke. No smokes till you finish training. And it's like, and they were, from then on in, they were their girls. And what a lot of the rugby player boys saw was their girls being hassled by some of the county boys and some of the uni boys, and they were like, no, that's not okay. And they would move in. And I remember one of the lesbian girls told me once, it was weird. It was like having 24 really big, really aggressive brothers.
Yeah. Because the rugby club, again, when we say rugby, we mean rugby union, which is actually a fucking toffs game. It's a rich guy's game. But the rugby club, it was kind of split between top blokes and fucking shitheads. Do you remember Casimir, John Casimir? I just said his real name, but he can sue me if he wants for saying shit. I don't know. I think he works in the... but anyway, there was this one period, he was the editor of the college newspaper, and he refused to print this stupid shit. The worst example of the right-wing National Party fuckheads who were in the rugby club did. Because they continually referred to, there was some intercollegiate thing where they went with some soccer players, and they referred to the male soccer players as the soccer fags and the female soccer players as the butch hairy lesbians. And Casimir just, I'm not printing this, okay? Fuck you. And they went into us. I literally just went in to see him because it was bar night. I went, are we going? And I went in, and there were 3 fairly threatening guys. And because rugby players tend to be pretty fucking big. And there were 3 fairly big guys in the office of the college newspaper surrounding him, really angry that he wouldn't print their homophobic shit. And I just rocked in and went, there's another witness, guys. What the fuck is happening? And me and the man were relatively quiet because these 3 guys could have kicked the shit out of us like there was no tomorrow.
Easily, they were big boys.
And we were just like, no. And because I just showed up and I was just like, whoa, guys, you had him cornered. There's a fucking witness now. And yes, no question, you could kick the shit out of me. Queer, asexual, women and kids. Okay, you are in fact trolls. They are actually Reddit trolls. I just blocked the other one. The WK, they're saying, stands for women and kids. It's Reddit trolls. It's really sad fucking losers. So they're gone now. But anyway, so yeah, I rocked in and there were these rugby players threatening him. And I didn't say much, but it was like, dudes, there's a witness now if you fucking attack the guy. And they left, and it was just like, and I was like, dude, what was that? And he said, I thought they were going to kill me. I thought they were going to kill me. And it was just because he literally took a stand and said, I am not going to print your homophobic rubbish. And they went, and one of them, my personal favorite, one of them, he said, what he thought was an insult. He said, you might as well be a communist. And Casimir went, I am a communist. It's just like, it's fucking great. It's fucking great. Oh yeah. So yeah.
What was weird was these few guys took on the lesbian rugby team, and the women and the other women involved.
Yeah.
The head women involved. And they trained them up, and more and more of the rugby guys came in on it, and they were their girls. And basically most of the rugby team was in this, and because after training they'd go straight to the bar and drink and talk to them.
Yes.
And the lesbians were frankly fascinating human beings. They were fascinating human beings, and could talk to guys in a way that most women couldn't. These rugby players were enthralled, and they would keep on seeing their girls being treated poorly and would move in going no. One guy struck one of the lesbians on a bar night, and that guy was in hospital for 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. I got harassed by one of the rugby players because I published a thing in the college newspaper where it was a very sort of sideways thing. It was just a joke about the rugby club being less evolved, as in the Darwin sense, than everyone else. And this guy was very drunk and was hassling me in the bar on a bar night. And one of the other rugby players who wasn't a fuckhead was trying to calm him down. And I went, cool, you calm him down, I'm walking away. And I went to take a piss, and I realized this guy was following me. So instead of going to the urinal, I went to a cubicle and locked the door. And he actually kicked the cubicle door in when I was in there. But that's what gave him pause, because he thought he damaged property. And this was a super weird thing. The recreational bit that we called the student union, most of the people who had roles in it were from the rugby union club. And he thought in his drunken state he had just damaged some of the physical infrastructure, which was a bad thing. And he left because he didn't care that he was literally threatening to physically assault me, but because he thought he had physically damaged a part of the building, that was a bad thing and he should leave now. And it was just like, okay, that's just weird. That is fucking weird.
This guy who punched this woman basically broke her upper jaw and her lower jaw and her nose. He smashed her.
Jesus. No, that would be very frowned upon.
And the guys moved in and just went, no, you're going to be robustly arrested now. And they robustly arrested him. And the cops turned up and said, well, hospital for him. And
we restrained him. He's got broken bones. He resisted.
He resisted a lot. Basically the cops found out what happened, and they said, well, you were lucky that the rugby club arrested you, because we would have arrested you in a similar robust manner.
And if coppers arrest you in a robust manner, that's not good.
Not good. Anyway, so that was kind of the turning point. The rest of the rugby club had decided that they were their girls. And,
basically 50% to 75% of the rugby club were rock solid, but 25+% of them were dodgy as fuck. And I will throw out the 50-75% used to actually defend the dodgy ones, but there were other things. My career is you're here, like we said. Nettie's asking, is it not a school night? It kind of is. It's like 10:20 now. I'm definitely going to go to bed soon, but we are just having fun with these conversations. So I'm keeping it going.
So essentially what happened was, after this, we had a Pride March. And what happened a lot during the Pride Marches was a lot of the right-wing motherfuckers used to hurl things and fucking go for the hit every now and again. So we all had the T-shirts on, and we were all marching hand in hand. And I had my girlfriend and my boyfriend in a hand each. And around us was the rugby club with their security shirts. and they made it very fucking plain that this march was going to happen, and no one was going to fucking stop this march or fucking get near their people. And it was lovely. It was nice. It felt safe, and it was great. And it was one of the first Pride marches that ever happened. And for years, the rugby club offered basically did security for the Pride march, and it was a really good time. And they were they would hang out for the piss up afterwards and have a great time. Basically, I was there, and these three particular women saw me there and said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm supposed to be here." And I said, "Well, what are you supporting this for? You don't like these people?" And I said, "Well, I'm a card carrying member."
It's like, boyfriend. Why am I here? I suck dick. That's why.
This is my boyfriend, and this is my girlfriend, and we kind of, it's a thing. And I said, but we thought, you and lesbians and gays didn't get on. I said, "Oh no, you've missed the mark there." Posty's my hero and my supporter, and then magically Posty's turned up and said, "I see my boy," and then give me a big bash, and I've gone, "Girlfriend," and she said, "Oh, you've brought you brought both your toys with you." And I went, "Darling, a little bit more tact, sweetie." And they laughed anyway. And then these women basically went, "Oh, how long has this been going on?" I said, "Oh, since I was kind of 13."
Yes.
And then I guess again, since I was 16, it's sort of really ironed itself in. So yeah, quite a while. And they went, "Right, so the rumors we heard about you might not have been real." And I said, "Well, what did you hear?" And they said, "Oh, they heard that dyke doesn't have a fucking idea." And I went, "Oh God, no, really? That's a fucking joke from Susanna that I was retelling, because she was talking about herself looking in the mirror doing makeup because she had to wear a dress for a party, and she was doing her makeup and said, 'Oh, this dyke doesn't have a fucking idea.' And I thought it was the funniest thing. So that's what I was saying to these people, and that's why we were all laughing, because it was a joke that she said. And they went, "Oh, right. So misunderstanding."
Context. That's the thing. When you and I have been with different people and the context is completely clear, if someone is outside the context, like you knew this thing, there is a video, and I still haven't privated it on YouTube. It's about the N-word. And you know this guy. This is when 10 years ago, I did a couple open mic nights for comedy before I decided open mic nights suck. YouTube is better. But there was this dude, and he was a black dude from the southern US. And you knew, I've forgotten his name, but there's a YouTube video about him, and he was basically he was a cool dude, and he was saying like, "Yeah, no, I feel you guys," and he was doing that thing where he said, yeah, he would say to AZ, and he would say to me, he would go, "My nigger," and he would say we should say it back to him, and I went, "Dude, I appreciate it. I am not going to do it simply because I might get too comfortable with it, and then I would say it in absolutely the wrong context to the wrong person and I would get the shit punched out of him. It's just like, I get it, dude. He was from the deep south. And okay, this was 10 years ago, and he was older than both of us. So he's basically the age I am now. We were 40 and he was in his 50s, and he was like, no, you guys are cool. You can say this. And we're like, we get it, man. We get it that we're cool with you. But if I get too comfortable saying that, I will say this in the wrong context, and someone will reasonably correctly punch me in the head.
And I said, the only way that I will do this is go, Sir Mr. Nigger. And so I called him Sir Mr. Nigger.
What was his stage name? He had a stage name, and I can't remember it.
Frank
He was, but anyway, again, he was a very nice guy. He was from the deep south in the US, and he'd been in Australia for a while. And because we were friendly and open, micro USB is saying, I'm a white dude in the US. Don't listen to him. Don't say it.
Well, I was for a long time against saying the N-word.
Yes, we agree on this, actually.
Because I thought that it was too easy to trip over a disgusting slur, right?
Yes.
I thought it was just too easy to just trip over a disgusting slur and say, oh, yeah, he said the N-word and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, he said something horrible and wrong, and he should be accountable for that.
Yeah.
And then I managed to talk to a black Canadian, actually. And he said, no, because it comes with an expectation of superiority.
Yes.
And I went, okay, that's really fucking different. That's really different. That's a whole different, because that's a whole different box. And I went, okay, I get it. I can't.
And I don't get, okay, every now and then I want to bring up Louis C.K. has had some genius routines over the year, and it's just a real shame he turned out to be a piece of shit. But he has a good one about the N-word where he points out, he says, I hate, someone on Fox News will refer to the N-word, and I hate them because they've put it into my head. I know what they're saying. And I know that particularly conservatives who go on about the N-word, I know what they're thinking. And those motherfuckers have put it into my head. And they feel like they're clean because all they said was the N-word. And it's
that's the thing.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You put it into my head. And I know that's what you think.
Right.
And fuck you for putting it into my head.
It's not clean, and it's not right.
No.
It's not fair, and it's not okay.
No.
And it fucking still fucking cements this fucking, at least the British had the decency to name their class system.
Yes, they were very open about what they thought about everyone else.
They named their class system, but the Americans fucking have this cowardice about them, and will not name their class system, and they will not name their fucking superiorities. I hear people, because I listen to my Secret Shame podcast every day.
What's your completely offensive podcast that you like called, Aidsy?
It's called Distorted View.
Distorted View. Okay, kids, if you want to find a podcast that's incredibly politically incorrect, Aidsy made me listen to it, and I went, I'm not completely comfortable listening to this.
It's so offensive. It's actually bizarrely politically correct. It's bizarrely politically correct, but it's offensive as fuck.
Oh yeah, no, it's a queer dude who is just absolutely unashamed about what he thinks about the world, and it's
so
like,
offensive. He won't talk about politics because he would go off too much.
but he finds really sick, fucked up shit, and then if you listen to the podcast, he inflicts this sick, fucked up shit on you.
He's only once got told by his fans never do that again, and the segment was called Bunny Crush.
Oh no, that's the high heels crushing an animal under the heel. Yes, no, that is a weird fucked up fetish. Yes,
his fans don't ever do that again. And so what someone did was they did a mashup of Sunshine Lollipops over the top of Bunny Crush.
Oh
and
no!
Every now and again he plays it, and it's so fucked up.
No.
But the Bunny Crush sound is way down, but the Sunshine Lollipops is way high.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, and
squealing.
It's kind of like that. Okay, and I'll throw one back. There was a podcast I listened to called Cumtown, Cumtown. First time I listened to it, I went, these guys are kind of funny. And then I listened to more and went, they're not that funny. There's only kind of one joke in this. And then there. But it's kind of like in your face. They're not right-wing dickheads. They're left-wing dickheads. And it's kind of like if anyone thinks, if anyone thinks the Chapo Trap House are the scumbag left, oh no, Cumtown are the real scumbags. Cumtown are the real scumbags. And again, the first time I listened to them, I thought they were kind of funny. Then I listened to them again and went, they're not that funny. They just keep doing the same thing. But yeah, if you want to listen to really reprehensible people, go listen to Cumtown. They're very reprehensible.
I listened to Distorted View a few times because Boss the House listened to it, and I just thought that's fucking wrong. And then what he does, which reminded me of us, was he does 3 segments of the fucked up news. Right?
Oh yeah, fucked up news. Yes,
he does 3 segments of news, and they are wildly fucked up. And
we used to really seek out fucked up news stories.
And he does too. He spends fucking 8 hours a day on his show, and he does it every fucking day.
We would do it for 5 or 10 minutes, and he really spends a very long time on it.
Oh yeah, he spends a long time. And we would the thing that used to blow my mind when we used to do it was we would agree on 5 or 6 ideas and then chase them down. And we had to make sure that they had at least 2 credible news sources.
Yeah.
Right. But I had nothing to do during that time. It would take 2 hours. So I'd be sort of sitting there going, and be patient and try and read along.
Yeah.
Because you read so fast, I couldn't ever get it.
We would do this stuff where we would look at stories and we go, okay, and we would riff and we would come up with half a dozen fucked up things to say and say, okay, I'm going to write some notes on the back of this. And it was usually an envelope that had
envelope.
Here's 6 points we're going to hit, and I'll tape that to the camera tripod. So we will be looking straight at the camera, and we will remember how the fuck we get from point 1 to point 2 to point 3 to point.
And we would simply drive to each point. And
we would do that. We would hit those points. But the fun thing was, because then I used to just rip them off the tripod and drop them on the floor. And then 6 months later, I would pick up 20 envelopes and I would just hold them up, and there were just these cryptic notes. And there are 1 or 2 videos of us trying to make sense of these cryptic notes. And said, what do you reckon this means? What do you reckon this means? And about 75% of the time we'd have no fucking idea what this cryptic note meant, and we'd make something terrible up.
Was littered with these.
No, I would have just like a pile of notes, and I'd go through them, and 75% of them we could not remember what they were. The other 25% we'd actually remember, but for the 75%, we'd just make something up that was probably even worse than what the original story was. And there's a couple videos on YouTube of us just picking the note paper up off the floor going, what do you reckon this means? Because I don't fucking remember.
And we'd say the words out loud and go.
We'd say the words out loud, yeah.
I reckon. One of my favourite ones, we were fucking around and we went, okay, we've got 2. What are we going to do for the 3rd? And we said, we've got nothing. And I said, why don't we just do any news and I'll sing along, right?
You're actually pretty good at making up songs, yes.
Right? And I was just singing along, right, waiting for Angry to get the shits. And it took forever. And I was just going, he's just not going to crack. And then finally he lost it and went, fuck off. I was like, great. I really enjoyed that. And,
all I'm thinking of now is the Clive Palmer song. I brought up Clive Palmer, and you could sing about Clive Palmer for about 10 minutes. And I was just like, oh no, what the fuck?
Myself on the light. And I went,
yes, because I had these halogen lights that would get really hot, and you burnt yourself on them more than once.
I went, oh, God punishes for picking on people for their weight, and I really burnt myself really bad. It was like, oh fuck, and it was like, stop hassling Clive Palmer for his weight. Yeah. It's not his fault, except that he eats everything and people. And
it's kind of also like George Christensen, the fuckhead from North Queensland who spent 6 months in sex bars in the Philippines till he married one of the waitresses there and whatnot. But his bariatric surgery absolutely did not take, because he's a big dude. I'm a big dude. You're a big dude. George Christensen's a very big dude. He had the bariatric surgery, and for about 6 months, he looked a bit smaller. I saw a picture of him recently, and I went, oh, the bariatric surgery did not take, did it? You actually broke the little rubber band that was around your stomach.
What a lot of people with the bariatric surgery do, because what they do now is they don't put the band on. What they do is they cut out a little bit of intestine, and they cut the stomach to the size of an egg, so you can't actually eat anything bigger than a 1.5 yogurt tubs. You just can't eat more than that,
because there's you can't hold anything. Your stomach just goes, I can't hold anything.
It's too full. So what they do is they mix up these big pails of chocolate milk and just drink it down, because then they get their sugar hit and their full hit, and they get their pleasures. And so what they're doing now with bariatric surgery is they're trying to figure out, when we take these people's pleasures off them, because what you're not hearing about bariatric surgery is that people are killing themselves.
Because their one pleasure in life
is gone.
Was eating this stuff. It was the only good thing in their life. And again, okay, and also I want to throw out to anyone for discussion of weight and stuff is triggering. I understand. There is an unhealthy obsession with it in the world. AZ and I, both big guys, quite honestly. And also, I think over the last 10 years, both of us, it's fair to say, our weight has fluctuated a fair bit back and forth. Now, I'm personally working on some weight loss stuff that is for some very direct physical health things. One is my sleep apnea, which is made worse by more weight. I'm on a CPAP machine now, so I can breathe when I sleep. Second one is my knees. My knees are so fucked. If I can reduce my weight, that will help. So again, I've lost.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I've lost 20 kilos. Like I was 125 like about a year ago. Quick kilos, which is for my height. Again, AZ and I are the same height, so we can identify with each other. We're short bastards. We're only 5'8". So that is quite overweight. And I've lost 20 kilos in the last 6 months. And I lost a lot in the first couple of months, and then it stalled. But now it's back on the weight loss. I was, for about a month, I was just vacillating between 108 and 110. Now I'm 104 because I've got it back on track. And again, for me, both for the knees and for the sleep apnea, I probably need to lose about another 20 kilos. And that's going to take 6 months.
Yeah,
but
and
again,
do it properly. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it step by step. Don't fucking.
Yeah. Oh my God, there are these absolutely horrific ads. I don't know. You probably don't play any mobile games. I don't know if you play any mobile games on your phone or your iPad or anything, but some of them, if you play a free mobile game, it'll throw a bunch of ads at you, and some of them are throwing these absolutely horrific ads that are trying to get you to buy these weight loss things, and it's obviously complete bullshit, but it shows and they're always women in the ads, and it shows them, and they're probably going from our size down to about 50 kilos in the thing, and it's criminally bad. Like, it's criminally bad. When I see these ads, I'm absolutely horrified there. And this is I apologize if us talking about weight is causing problems for anyone, is triggering anyone. I absolutely understand that, but this is just a personal choice I'm making for a couple health things. But yeah, I had an initial couple months that were really good, went down from 125 to about 110, and then it stalled for a month or so. I was hovering between 108 and 110, and now I've got it back on track, and I've been going in the right direction. Now I'm about 104, but I'm only halfway on the journey of where I need to get. And look, I will also admit part of it is aesthetic. I would feel happier about myself if I lost another 20 kilos just on the visual front.
Do you know, I lost my concern about the aesthetic a while ago because, and I'm here to tell everyone, especially the people who are triggered by weight, I'm here to tell everyone that one of the things I learned was if you are in a room of 30 people, right?
Yes. Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Go.
One of those people thinks you are the hottest thing on legs. One of those people gets wet and or hard because of you.
Yeah.
You are the person they want. And if you talk to that person, they will be probably, because, you know, anyone who watches this channel is usually brilliant. If you talk to that person, they will usually be fucking blown away by your wonderfulness. So don't ever worry about how you look. Someone out there wants you bad, wants you really.
Yeah. Who you are as a person is more important.
That's
more important.
Yeah. That is the thing. Who you are as a person. Because so many women have told me that with a guy, once you get the wrapping off, no one gives a fuck. It's the present underneath. Yep. Right? You know, they can look however they fucking look. As soon as you get the gear off and they're in bed doing the thing, as long as they're still laughing and still making you feel great and they're still making you feel safe and loved and kind, you're in. You know, I know guys who are fucking big as an elephant. No, they get fucking 6 kids. You know, I know guys who are skinny as a rake and they're fucking giving it to mama on 5 days a week.
Yeah.
They don't also, care.
I just want to throw out, because you don't see the chat, Loriander in the chat is saying he is on the opposite problem. He's like 5'10" and has been very skinny his whole life. And that is an equal thing. Some skinny people find it impossible to put on weight. And again, the stress is put. Mark SB, I get what you're saying, that weight talk shouldn't trigger anyone, but it is there's a whole fucking raft of shit. There's a whole spectrum of shit that goes with body image and weight, and it's weird and fucked up, and we all deal with it differently.
Hey, Angry, what's the biggest industry in the world?
The weight loss industry.
No.
The
oil industry.
The oil industry. Okay.
What's the second biggest industry in the world?
I don't know, but Nettie's going to sleep, and I am soon.
It's
so
the
not
cosmetic industry.
Oh, cosmetics. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yes,
there is a multi-trillion-dollar industry to tell you you're not good enough, and you are good enough.
Yeah.
Right. The only thing that I tell people about their body is to stay healthy.
Yes.
Right.
And weight is not a defining factor for health. We get sold a lie that weight is a defining factor for health, but it isn't.
Right. If you can fucking lift several hundred pounds and run 100 meters and not get puffed, you're healthy.
Yeah.
Right. You will eventually slim down a bit. You will eventually pump up a bit. It doesn't matter how much, as long as you're healthy. You're going to look great.
Yeah.
As long as your mind is free of self-hate, you're gonna be fucking attractive.
Yes.
As long as you remember that you're not being rejected, you're just not connecting with that person today. Yes. Remember, it's not about you. It's about what they are feeling today. Right? They're not rejecting you. They're not connecting with you today.
Yeah.
You're not being rejected.
And it is disappointing when you don't connect with the person that you are hoping to connect to, but it happens. It just happens.
And you will connect with someone. It'll be great. Right? Think about what they're thinking. Think about the day they had. They probably had a shitty day.
Yeah.
They probably had a weird background experience, and you're trying to connect with them and they're not trying to connect. They can't connect with you. It's not about you. It's about what they can connect with. So if you can connect with them, great. If you can't connect with them, that's okay. That's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. If you want an asshole.
Yeah. Yes, if you're not another. I also want to go, because I'm going to go to bed soon, but what this all brought to mind is there were a few people who were developing shows for the ABC, and they thought we should communicate to people how fucked up and weird advertising is with a sitcom, a fictional show, because they won't really understand the reality of the bullshit of advertising. So they did a sitcom that was about the advertising industry that only lasted one season and didn't really stick with people. But then, and this was Will Anderson and a couple of people from the advertising industry. And when that sitcom didn't work, they did a panel talk show where they literally just talked about the truth of advertising. And that show was called The Gruen Transfer. And that show lasted for like 10 fucking seasons. And it's like, we thought people wouldn't identify with the truth of the advertising industry and the fucking lies the advertising industry tells. We thought we had to frame it in the terms of a fiction so people would consume it. But people were absolutely on board with the discussion about the truth of the advertising industry. And the Gruen show, with a few different names, I think there are close to 10 seasons of Gruen. And it was hilarious. The sitcom they came up with, which was pretty good, only lasted one season because people were just going, oh, that's just comedy. But when you did a panel show where you said, we are all telling you the truth about advertising, everyone was like, fuck yeah, I'm into this. I want to know. I want to know about the truth of advertising.
Chris Rock did a wonderful documentary on cosmetics. Go see it.
Focusing on hair, actually, if I remember. Wasn't Chris Rock?
His daughter had a hair straightener product. And he went, what the fuck is in this to make my daughter's curly hair go straight? And then he went right through the fucking cosmetic industry and went, this is toxic, it's bad, it's expensive, and they don't care. They just don't care what it does to you. And they tell you, and he also did one wonderful part of this show. He said, in 1950, this was beautiful. In 1960, this was beautiful. In 1970, this was beautiful. In 1980, this was beautiful. And every year they change breast size. They change. Good hair is the name. Good hair. Thank you, Stella. He went through and said they change breast size. They change height. They change waist size. They change leg size. It's just ridiculous. They just change their mind so that you're never good enough. You are
it always changes. That's nail on the head. You're never good enough.
Remember that you are good enough and stay healthy. Be healthy and you're going to be okay. Be healthy and you're going to be the sexiest motherfucker in the room. You not have to be a gym bunny. That's not important. Just be healthy. If you saw me several years ago, you'd see that I was green, had no teeth, and I was clearly dying. It was obvious I was dying. The doctors gave me 2 years. They actually later admitted 2 months. Now my skin's changed colour. I've got teeth. They're not real. My eyes are bright.
They're good. And that's another thing that shows up on my Facebook memories that I forget, it's 4 years, I think. It just showed up in my Facebook memories in the last week or so. We are on like the 4-year anniversary of you having teeth. So there you go. They're beautiful. You're beautiful. So there you go. And this is why
green, not.
Oh no! And again, YouTube videos from 5 years ago. It's just like we're doing this thing, and because it was like that semi-cancerous infection in your gums that was killing all your teeth. YouTube videos from about 5 years ago. AZ's teeth are very frightening.
Very frightening. And my skin was green and my eyes were black. And
I kind of like, but also when you were about 30, which was the first time rheumatoid arthritis kicked in and you had chemo, you've showed me there's photos of you with your family, and it's like, oh, that's AIDS's fat lesbian stage. You look like our uni lecturers in those, except your skin's green. Your skin is a definite shade
and
of
bloated,
green.
and my hands were like sausages.
Yes, you were just swollen and bloated. It was not good.
Every time I picked up a knife and a fork, it was like a monkey. I couldn't pick things up, and I'd pick up a cup or a glass and I'd drop it. It was fucked. And they gave me this fucking steroids and made me 130 kilos. Why would you do that?
Yeah. No.
I'm okay with it. Be healthy. Healthy is attractive.
Yeah. And that varies. Healthy varies from person to person.
It does.
It varies.
Can you breathe? Can you move? Can you see pleasure in in walking around and playing with your dog and just moving?
Yeah.
Can you see pleasure?
And some skinny people are fucked. Some fat people are in awesome health. And again, some skinny people are in great health. Some fat people are in fucked health. But it varies from person. Anyway, Jesus Christ, it's gone to 11. Normally on a Thursday, I'll only go to 10. But we were having such good conversations. I was enjoying myself too much to cut it off. But I think I'm going to go to bed.
Really good, sir, man. Thank you so much for letting us in your device. Please subscribe to us, Henry. He's nice. And
look, go check out my cocktail channel. If you're here, you know this is here. If you like cocktails, if you like alcohol, go check out Angry Cocktails, because that's a different thing I do. That's the only pre-recorded videos I do. Here, it's just the live streams, the hanging out, the chilling, the being happy.
Soon, my brother, there's going to be a bit of pre-record as you do your cocktails. Ooh.
Yes. Tomorrow night, party night. I'll do some cocktail videos. But anyway, Angry Cocktails. The one that's going live tomorrow is this one: how I made my bottled old-fashioned cocktail.
Nice.
So that was something I developed over about a 1-week period.
Nice.
Because all the flavors come through over a period of a week. So
nice.
And then
I might be a bit late in tomorrow, but I will be in.
Yeah. Next week, I'll probably put up the video that explains how I made my bottled daiquiri.
Nice.
I didn't make a video for my bottled cocktail. I just drink my bottled cocktail. So it's kind of like, if we weren't locked down, I'd be inviting people over and just pouring them out drinks like, have an old fashioned. Have a fucking martini.
I'm sleeping here.
Have a no. The number of people. AZ sleeping on the lounge. Abigail slept on my lounge. No, I wouldn't be sleeping on the
lounge. I'd be sleeping outside near a trough.
Yeah, the lawn's soft is what I'm saying. I would just push AZ out and saying, you know what, just sleep under the tree. There's some grass. There's some leaves that are fallen. Jesus would have been happy sleeping on a bed like that. So
that's right.
You know what? That's it.
Well, I've got to go. Love you.
Yeah, we've both got to go. Thank you, fabulous people, for joining us. If you're up for it, tomorrow night's party night. We'll see you then. Otherwise, just take care, and we'll see you another time. Bye for now.